Okay, welcome back to, as usual, I flummoxed the intro. Get to know your mod author, episode 14, I think, with
Otherwise known as
RoyBatterian.
get to know your asshole. You
Pretty
know,
much with RoyBatterian. Say hello to
no,
everybody,
Roy
sir.
Batty. Call me
Or
Roy
Batty.
Batty.
Roy
I'm
Battiers.
only RoyBatterian because Dark One won't let me take over that name.
Oh,
Even
does
though
somebody have it?
even though the idiot that registered it was like fucking 10 years ago and hasn't logged in once since then. We don't do that in case they might. Well, let them make a new fucking account. Jesus fucking Christ, they haven't been on there for.
Spell it with three T's.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. I.
It should have
Like,
that thing
am I,
like wow,
I
like if you
I
don't log
keep
in forever, you should be able to overwrite their login name.
I know. It's like every other website. If you don't log in for like 2 or 3 years, they purge you.
Well, you know how to take this up with them. Just show up on the next first Saturday of the next month and yell at fucking Robin himself.
Yeah. Okay.
He might call you a cunt, but
I don't care if he calls me. I am a cunt. You know. Hey, I'm like you. I can dish it out and I can take it too. I call people out in the fucking nose picker thread, and I could take their shit too.
isn't it just a nose picker forum now? Like the whole thing. It's
No, no, no. If the topic, Felissa got his or her wish that the fucking topic finally died. You know, it finally died. Nobody's talking about it anymore, and it's
well,
like, do you want to talk about that? I mean, we can talk about anything you want. So,
I was gonna say it's first yap about like just I just looked it up. I saw a bunch of Fallout 3 mods, like the one Gek changer. It's not the Gek. I want to bring this up real quick. It's the creation kit. I have this little bitch because every retard on the forums for the past 6 months has been like, "When's the Gek coming out?" I'm like, where's the G and the E coming from, you retards? It's literally the creation kit 2.0. Like that's even what they fucking named it is the worst part.
it's the Garden of Eden creation
No,
kit,
it's
though.
not.
I
There's
mean,
no
it's got
goddamn
to be
Garden of
lore
Eden.
friendly, man.
Yeah. If it's lore friendly, it should be like sarcastic option creation kit, because that's about what we got out of it.
Why do you think the first mod that I uploaded on the Nexus when they first added the fucking Fallout 4 section is I made a potato Jesus icon for the Gek because
Yes.
I knew that they were going to call it their creation kit. And
Well,
nobody got the joke except for like three people.
I've just been so annoyed at like everybody on the forums just get. When's the get come out? I'm like, oh my god, shut the fuck up.
I don't even know. It's like,
And of course, it's magic and it does all sorts of things. Like it just, I mean,
oh,
you just load it up and mods happen. Like they're just
happened. Yeah. Oh, they just had you just push a button and it makes a
yeah.
mod. You
Nobody
get on your microphone and you dictate to it like it's fucking Star Trek and it just makes the mod for you.
I'm just
I mean,
trying. I'm trying to actually make what is in essence a really simplistic mod. And I was on that stream for what 2 hours, and I've just got the
yeah.
bases set up. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like they're gonna turn off so many people to modding by just you just open the creation kit and it's like, wow! It's
It's
like
like wow. No, it's like no. You open Doom Snap Map and it's like wow. It's like that's what I've already told people that. I think you need to go buy Doom and use Snap Map.
you snap. I saw that option. All I did was boot up the menus. It just like Halo's was. I think Halo 3.
Yeah, you just get pre-combined pieces of stuff and you can
So it's just like a giant
rotate them at
settlement
90
builder.
degree angles and you can snap shit together and make quote unquote a deathmatch map and upload it. It's like
Oh wait, we do have to like legit talk about Fallout 4. Oh wait, no, the Fallout forums I can just put Fallout 3 on it. Because last time I interviewed a Skyrim mod author, like fucking Terror removed the post. It didn't have anything to do with Fallout 4. So, do you have any
well,
Skyrim mods?
do I have any Skyrim mods?
Yeah, I don't pay attention. This is literally
Uh
I don't know anybody.
no, the Elder Scrolls is the most fucking boring game I've ever played in my life. That was an RPG. I'm sorry. Morrowind I love. I love Morrowind. I will play it until
What
I
about
die.
Oblivion?
Oblivion, Crash Fest. Terribly
Yeah, that's
optimized
kind of
Crash
true.
Fest. Fallout 3 is not much better, but we ported it into New Vegas so it doesn't crash anymore. Hey,
Really, Skyrim? Skyrim was kind of boring. I guess you're
it's
right.
boring. It's Pagli Rule again. It's like, hey man, here you go. You're fucking the Dragonborn, you can shout at shit, but hey, you know that fucking that mud crab over there can like clip your balls off.
Now, to be
You
fair, when I did my April Fool's mod, I made the mud crabs 35 feet tall.
oh,
So
well,
they could fuck you. I mean, legit, they don't give a shit if you're the Dragonborn or a dragon for that matter. Like, they're just like, fuck this shit.
hey, if I could have been a dragon like Drake, I would have played it.
That'd be kind of cool.
That
But of
would be
course,
cool.
we all know flying mechanics don't work in any of their games.
No, no, of course they don't.
It's so
I
terrible.
looked at. Did you look at vertibirds yet?
Oh god, no! Are they on the same? They're on the dragon shit, aren't they?
No, no, no. They're a creature,
Okay.
but they're kind of like an armor again, like the trams in
Wait,
Fallout 3.
wait. They're. Oh god, damn it! Because you said they're a creature, and I immediately thought, okay, so we have mounting possibilities,
It's a
but
creature. It's in the creature forms, but remember they got rid of creatures, and everything's an NPC now.
yes. Oh my god, that is so annoying. By the way.
It is, but I think I can see where they did that because it just simplifies the whole AI package thing. It really does. They don't have to make a complete another set of AI packages for creatures.
That's true.
So they with super mutants they can just use the same ones. What bothers me is the fucking animation system is closed again. Why do they never learn? And
Well,
and
on the
and why is the player's hand permanently connected to the fucking gun? You know.
That's true. The what was I gonna say? The only good thing I like about the animations though is if you have the knowledge to do them, and like I was talking with my modeler Blue about this too, and it's like, well, if they do paid modding, we'll do it. If not, there's no point. Like, but if you have access to the animations, you can actually add animations under idols and play them extremely easy. But you have to
Really?
be able to make the HKXs
Right, right.
with their new skeleton, and I have no idea how, and he doesn't either. And I'm like, well, what's the fucking point? Like it adds a ton to helping tell stories because you can add the custom animations and do entire sets.
Hmm.
But it's not worth our fucking time to go buy 2 Xbox Connects and fucking rig up a motion cap studio and then figure
Yeah.
out the Havoc content tools if I'm not getting paid for it. Like,
Right.
that's one of
Oh,
those things. I always know animations are a complete and utter bitch if you aren't. Like, the people who are already set up for it, like Lover's Lab and shit from Skyrim, they're going to have a very easy time, apparently.
probably.
Because adding the idols does not. That's why 4 said he's out. Like, you don't need FNIS for Fallout 4. You can literally just point in the idols to the new animations and just play the idols with a play idol script or anything, or with even idol markers.
Yeah, my only problem is it's like we wanted the way Fallout 3 and New Vegas had it, where you have a set of specific reload animations and firing animations and stuff that you can just dump in the form and you don't have to screw around with patching anything. Why didn't they just make that so that it wasn't locked into however many A to Z or whatever, you know?
I don't even know. I was trying to figure out how the weapon animations work too, because that's something but they're all linked to keywords.
Yeah,
And
they're
then
all
I
linked to
don't know where
keywords.
the keywords are linking to the animation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the one that was blowing my mind. I'm like, where the fuck is it? Like, I just have a keyword that says anim 10 pistol
Hi.
whatever.
Hi, we're Bethesda. We let object oriented kind of get a little out of hand here.
But don't worry, this is the exact same tool they used to create the game.
Bullshit.
No, it's the exact same tool. That's why it took
Bullshit.
6 months to come out.
No, no,
And
no.
that's why there was no suicides at Bethesda over the last 3 years.
I'm calling bullshit on Bethesda. This is not the
you're,
full set of
you're
tools
just a
that they
goddamn
use.
hacker, bro. Making that.
I know I'm a goddamn hacker, but
You made
this-
an image without using the creation kit. You used tools that weren't sanctioned by Bethesda.
I actually got semi-famous on my tweet for calling Pete Hines out for that. I got like
I didn't know that was
50
you calling it out. This is how great my remembering is. I saw that tweet thread too, and I was like, "Thank you." I was like, "He's such a bitch." Like fucking Pete Hines.
And he did ban me from his Twitter, which is what I'm totally amazed about. You know, did I say it in just a snide enough way to where he didn't like really catch that I was like, "Fuck you"? You know, you don't mind me swearing, do you?
I don't give a shit.
Okay, because I'm
Yeah.
kind of like some guy. I have a really fucking foul mouth.
There's nothing. I'm just like, do whatever you want.
By the way, that was a great interview. I loved it.
Which one? Oh, some guys.
Some guy. Oh yeah,
Which
that
speaking
guy.
of, are you in on the gay Hitler synth Preston Garvey love triangle cleansing the wasteland mod if we ever reach that $500,000?
Oh, dude, I am totally in.
Sweet.
If I can work with some guy, I would fucking I would suck your dick. No, no, I probably wouldn't. But
he seems like somebody who would be true to his word. So if any of us ever make a 500,000, that mod is gonna get made.
that
Like that.
mod. Oh yeah, oh yeah, and it's got to have the alien stealing your dicks
Do you
too.
know? Do you know they would never make it on Bethesda.net because you would like have racism in there? Oh God! Speaking of, did you see their fucking? That's probably why. That's probably it's another reason. I should have asked some guy if he read their fucking terms and rules for uploading mods.
Oh
One of
yeah,
them says nothing depicting violence toward children.
oh yeah.
My fucking Vault 273 script opens with Natasha executing one of the traitor gunner's kids because he deserted. I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do now?
You're screwed. You can't have it on Bethesda Net. You can just have it on Nexus like everybody else does.
Well, I mean, if they do paid modding, I'm gonna make two versions of the damn thing. But
Yeah, you'll make the censored version.
I'll make the censored version and just put a giant like Jigglypuff in front of where the kid's getting murdered, saying censored for the happy fuck people.
Oh man.
It's an M-rated game, guys.
It's an M-rated game, guys. You can't no rape, can't dismember women.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right? So stupid.
It's so stupid. It's like we bought the Fallout franchise. You know, it got a hell of a lot of rap for killing children and rape and slavery, and you know how the post-apocalypse would actually be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, it's a Disney version now.
yeah. Now
Like,
it's the Disney version. When I heard you say that, I was like, oh, that's so spot on. It's fucking Disney Fallout.
like
You
I'm
know?
I'm killing. Like, well, this is all right. Hold on. Spoiler alert for everybody listening who doesn't want the story for Vault 273 spoiled, even though if paid modding doesn't happen, there's a high chance you're never going to get anything but episode 1. But you might want to skip forward about 1 minute right now. I'm killing everybody. Like, I don't want to make anybody a companion, and everybody is dying at some point. Like, not during the first episode, but I'm, like, building characters up, and I'm murdering... Like, the first quest is titled, Everybody Dies Sometime. And literally I'm killing off like I'm even going in depth with some of the characters, letting the voice actors go crazy with like if they want to make backstories for him, even if it's a character who dies 4 minutes into the first dungeon. If you want to go up and talk to him and learn everything about him, then I'm just murdering the shit out of him. Like,
Oh, but you have to make a companion though, and do me a favor. This is one idea that I want to see you do because I'm not going to make these mods for Fallout 4. Make the companion, have them, you know, become your buddy and all your friend and stuff, and then decide that they don't like what you do and hang themselves.
I love it. I'm going pretty bad. And once again, still spoiler if you guys are listening. I'm making like a love story between Wilson and Victoria, right? And at
Okay.
one point during like episode 3, one of them is going to get brutally murdered, depending on the player's choice, by the big bad enemy guy, right?
Excellent. I love that.
Whoever gets murdered, there's going to be a full funeral at the end. Our radio station is going to play something about it and shit. Our radio station is going to have eulogies for everybody who dies as well. That's part of the expedition. And then that's the end of the episode. So the next episode I make right at the start, because I don't want to create an entire split. Like, literally within 10 minutes of the first episode, whichever one survived goes and takes themselves out in, like, a blaze of glory trying to kill the other guy with, like, a suicide vest. And just,
Nice.
like, murders hundreds of people to get it done or some shit. Like, I'm just gonna end both of them. Like, you're gonna be like, oh, shit, I made that choice and this one lived, but I want the other one to live, so reload. Start
Yeah.
the next game. Boom! Fuck
Boom
you.
does it anyway. Yeah. Choice, man.
Oh, well,
Consequence.
That and it's like it's the post-apocalypse, right? Like, oh, it's fucking there should like I wanted Bethesda's killing me on this one too because in episode 4 I wanted to institute I had like an underground like city like slavery smuggling ring like den of what Good Neighbor should have been in like some
Den
tunnel
of debauchery.
yeah, den of debauchery, but I wanted it to have a child slavery prostitution ring that you could take over or eliminate.
Yeah. Oh, hey, bestiality too.
Oh, there you go. Because I always hate when the people go, I don't get to choose any evil option. Well, the problem is that even the evil options they got in Fallout 3, for the most part, if I remember, they weren't really evil options. They were more like Disney versions of evil. Like I want to give you an option that makes you feel like a pile of fucking shit.
Shit.
Or
Exactly.
if you don't feel like one, you're a fucking little bit of a psychopath. But it's okay too. The But I mean, that's what I want to do. I'm like, I want to make all the decisions, which is killing me too, because one of the side quests we had planned for episode 1 involved a little girl ghoul who was a cannibal who you accidentally helped slaughter a whole bunch of your ally raiders, and she eats them and thanks you for it, and then later you find a robot who will let you into this one spot with a bunch of loot and shit, but he wants to have a child to experiment on who's been a ghoul. So you got to go back and find her, bring her to the robot, and then he accidentally blows her up.
I like it.
Like I even had one of my writers had a voice actor for a daughter who was gonna do it. I told her, I was like, "You write the line since you're gonna know where the limit is on what you want your daughter to say."
Yeah.
But like that's right out the window. I can't blow the little girl up. Like,
Well, do it, man. Just do it and say I don't care.
upload it to Bethesda.net and get banned.
No, don't upload it to Bethesda. Do the good version of the mod for PC players.
Actually, you're right. I mean, I really is. I'm gonna work on that because I don't like, we can segue this into paid modding. I honestly don't see them doing it. Like, I had high hopes, but with how much of a colossal clusterfuck they're doing it, even running a website, something that 5-year-olds can do nowadays.
Right. Well, hey, the big thing here is that they've chosen that we're not going to moderate it. We're going to crowdsource the moderation. That's a big fail right there. That's telling us that, hey, we want to make money off you, but we really don't give a shit. That's what it tells me. We really don't care enough.
Well, it actually, what it's telling me, though, is that they're not going to do paid modding. Because if you're going to do paid modding, you would have paid moderators on staff. You would have, like, you would do a lot of things, in my opinion, that would be the correct things to do if you were looking at something that could make you tens of millions of dollars a year.
What they could do, like I said in your stream the other day, is why don't they do what Valve does? And it's like, hey, you make this amazing mod, we'll buy it from you. No, we're not going to hold a bloody contest with NVIDIA to cover it up and turn it into a big media event to make ourselves look good. Just be cool. If somebody makes an amazing mod, buy it from them. Give them money. Go, here. Thank you.
And that is something I talked with Blue about, too. I was like, because once I finished the first quest mod, which is looking like it's getting pushed another couple of weeks from what I thought I would, because I've been working and dying. Mm-hmm. But that's something I would do too. I mean, I don't think I'll get any reception or response whatsoever, but I would definitely finish the mod, and before releasing it, talk to Bethesda about selling it to them or putting it up as an extra DLC that's not on their pack or some shit.
Exactly.
Like, I think the worst argument that I ever hear still is, well, I mean, you hear tons of arguments from the no paid mod crowd, which is 99.9999999999999% composed of users who want their free shit.
Right.
And it's like, but modding's always been free, to which I've just given up now. And I was like, well, slavery was always free too. We should have kept them there.
I myself don't want to charge for my mods, because only for the pure fact that this is my hobby and I don't want to make it a job.
And that's fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, if I make it a job, that means I'm going to go, I'm going to be the control Nazi about it too. I'm going to go, this, and this goes in my mod. The quality has to be this, and this.
Yeah.
And people aren't going to fucking like me being that way, because I'm going to be businesslike about it. Like I would be with my business. Instead of, hey, let's do this and this. Oh, yeah, sure, that would be cool. I don't mind. It's just a mod,
See, and what you're describing is kind of funny too, because this is for all those morons out there who think that paid modding would be a terrible thing because you would just get tons of shit. What he basically just said is he doesn't want to do it because everything he did would then have to be professional, which is, once again, it's fine. It's how I mod right now. I don't mod professionally. If I was modding for money, I would do exactly what you just said. It makes it like that's actually how I'm making Vault 273. I'm doing it as if it was a job and it's professional. My scripts are actually tabbed for once in my life. Like,
document everything, make backups of everything, Yep. Everything has notes.
But see, I personally want to do this for a job. I love creating shit. I don't well, if I could work for somebody doing this, I would be perfectly fine with it. The problem is that anybody with any brains, because you get all those idiots, why don't you get this as a job? I'm like, there's no job where you could have the freedom and creativity in modding to do what you can do unless you make it for yourself. Because if you go to work for fucking Shitthesda, guess what? There's some little retard who is literally converting everything to a NIF and exporting it and making sure it works. That's his job for 4 years. Like, That's
Yeah.
like that you turn into you're basically just a fucking mule, a grunt. There's some people, who modelers probably have a little more freedom and fun, I could imagine, because that's what they like to do. But in
Well,
terms
it's
of modding, you get all this freedom to create.
yeah. We're not making a product.
Yep.
That's the thing. We're not making a product. We're making something that's for fun. And when you turn it into making a product, everything changes. There's QA. There you got to make sure nothing's broke. And people are going to bitch about spelling. You think you get shitty comments on the Nexus about shit. As soon as you turn it into a paid product, that was my point with you before. No, you don't have to support it, but people are going to expect a certain level
Oh yeah, yeah.
of
And
quality.
quite frankly, what you said about working with somebody, dude, you paid me for you pay me for shit. I'll be that whatever you want. I suck your
Yeah,
dick. I do
exactly.
whatever. I'm a whore. It's like now we're all prostitutes. There's just a price
Yeah,
limit for certain
yeah.
people.
Well, and also too, if you would work for Bethesda and you want to do this stuff, you also have to answer to the board of directors at ZeniMax
Oh yeah.
because they are EA and Ubisoft and Activision. And don't fool yourselves into thinking that fucking Bethesda is your friend. They are not your goddamn friend. They are in this for the money.
But see, here's what confuses me with that. What you just said. This is what blows my mind. Like I agree with you, but I think they're literally the dumbest business people I've ever met in my life. Or I've seen them because
No.
oh yeah, there's probably word. But I mean, it makes. I mean, you can't deny it makes complete logical sense. Despite any shitstorm they will get to do paid modding, the money input so overwhelms any negative publicity
Yeah,
or loss of future revenue. It
exactly.
it's gonna overwhelm it. But
Oh yeah.
they really don't seem like they're gonna do it. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. It's like, well, the backlash is going to be, it's going to be like the mod picker backlash. It's going to be for a whole bunch of heated hate for it at the start and death threats and what the fuck. Hey, and whoever threatened Terror Fox with death, go fucking kill yourself right now. Go stick a gun in your fucking mouth and pull the trigger repeatedly until you can no longer do so.
I'm not.
Because that was
Why?
fucking stupid.
Did you guys see Terror Fox on the stream, guys? You don't need to threaten him with death. Living under a bridge will get to him eventually.
Yeah, that I may have been a vocal opponent to it, but that's just
Wait, so
wrong.
somebody actually threatened him with death over mod
Somebody
picker?
actually gave him an honest death threat. And I'm sorry, but I find that
So he's
atrocious.
so he's literally has nothing to fear.
Yeah,
See, I have no. It's when you're doing like atrocious things, like or when you're doing stuff that's heated and then you never get a death threat. That's when you should be scared because the people who are coming to kill you aren't going to advertise it. I
yeah,
just want
that's
to point
true.
this out to people. Like, if I was
Yeah,
ever going to come to your house and murder you, you would never know
you
till
would
you were
never know.
dead.
Yeah,
Because
same here.
now, if I wanted you to act like a little, if I knew you were gonna act like a little whiny bitch, I'd send you death threats anonymously, like every day, just to make your life horrible.
That's
But
just pussy, though. That's all I'm saying.
what
Is
we're
that
basically
just
saying, guys, is don't send death threats. Literally, go find where he lives and kill him. It's a whole. No, I'm just kidding.
no? Don't do that.
Oh, that's not what he was saying. Shit.
Leave the guy alone. They mean well. They have an ego problem, but they mean well.
I think they do. I just think they. I don't know. I think it's kind of. But yeah,
I
you know
wanted to.
my feelings on the mod users.
I want mod users are idiots. That's I agree with you. There are good users though, because I have some, and they come to our site, and I talk to them every day, and they're great people. And see, here's the thing: the good mod users, you don't hear from them
Yes, because
because they're not idiots,
and they follow instructions.
and they read and they follow instructions, and they'll even send you messages and say, "Hey, thank you, your mods are great." And hey, that's kind of nice when you get that, right?
I'm like Tendo at the moment. I'm just ignoring. So like I've got on like my mannequins mod. There's just like report after report in this big long list of like air. Like I can only build the U mannequin. Somebody after like 15 replies finally responded to him and said, "You need to go and activate the U mannequin and click the button that says show hide all mannequins in the build menu."
Yeah, people don't read, you know. And what bugs me is the people that do read will sometimes not read and act like they read. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
Kind of, you'll get that user who's usually a good user, but they'll come on your page and try to help somebody else and then say something completely
Oh
wrong.
yeah.
And it's
I've
like,
gotten
no, no, no. That's the only time I try to get involved. I try to get the other users to, handle all the shit with my mods, and they usually do a pretty good job. And most of the time, I have my sticky post now, is in great big fucking red underlined letters that says, "Read the goddamn instructions." And hey, guess what? It worked.
See, I actually got I think that might be why MXR is getting better with this. I gave him shit. Like, I keep giving him shit. Every time he reviews one of my mods, he always fucks up something about what he's talking about.
Mhm.
And he did turret defense right before he went to Ren Fair. And so I gave him props. I was like, this time when you reviewed my mod, you only got one detail completely wrong. It's like, read the shit. Like, what was the other guy? The guy Ellie keeps deleting. Vadiwa. Who I shouldn't advertise because
I don't even know
mod
who
reviews,
that is.
dude, they're so garbage. Like, his mod review thing is called like Boob-pocalypse, and all he does is like try to
Okay.
tell stories about how his female character is sleeping with the other female characters while he tries to review mods. It's literally like I don't know. I don't even know how to like just describe the idiocy.
I don't even comprehend that.
I don't know how he's
That
40,000 people following him. That's the thing that gets me.
uh, people are pointing and laughing just like they do
I
at
hope so.
PewDiePie. Yeah.
I hope so. Oh, PewDiePie, I can't even imagine that shit.
Yeah.
That South Park episode where they made fun of that shit
Was
was
so fucking best.
oh, it was relevant as all hell. I'm like, I don't understand these kids. I'd rather watch somebody play the game than do it myself. Like,
It's
what?
like, I watch people play games, but only because, I watch Gopher because he's a storyteller and he's fucking entertaining. That's why I watch him play. I'm not watching him to play the game. I'm watching him for his personality. And same with Al Chessbreach because he makes me fucking laugh. You know. Everybody else, nope, don't watch them. They're boring. I don't want to.
Speaking of, I forgot. I need to hit up Al. I need to get Al to voice a character in my mod just so I can kill it.
Oh man, if
Yeah.
you can get him to voice a character, will you get him to help me? Will you get him into contact with me because he won't like give me the time of day. I want him to voice a character for a
I
while.
was messaging back and forth with him on my on one of the comments when he did one of my mods, and he seemed interested. So I don't know.
He he does it for the worst mods. It's like, dude, I have a World of Pain. I'm trying to get it voice acted this year because it's in desperate need of it, dude. Will you?
Oh, is it only text? Really?
Oh yeah, it's always only been text. Yeah, it's amazing it's so popular. Well, that's a test to
How
its
much?
quality.
How much
But
audio does it have? Like, how much audio would you need for it?
oh Jesus, I'm still adding voice types to all the characters because he was just using.
Oh shit!
Yeah, dude. Oh my God. You have no idea how much I've rebuilt this mod from the ground up, basically.
Because you don't have to tell me what he did after that. I think he only used one.
No, not one. He just the built-in ones.
Oh, that's
Built-in
even
voice types, and
worse.
none of them are randomized. And I'm doing that right now, and all the factions are like all wrong and copied from. I just dude. Here, I'll put it this way: not one cell was room bounds and portal, not one. And
Now,
there is
I got a
over.
question about Fallout 3. Room bounds and
Yeah,
portals. Do you actually have occlusion planes in there too?
occlusion planes don't work unless there's multi-bounds.
Okay.
If you have a multi-bounds, then an occlusion plane will work, but it has to be inside a wall or something, or else it will screw stuff up
Well,
when
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You put the occlusion. So it's not like Skyrim's that I'm looking. Well, I mean, because the occlusion planes in Skyrim worked if if you just had them up, it wouldn't render anything behind it,
Yeah,
basically.
they don't work like that in
Okay.
Fallout. Unfortunately, I think it's broken. Actually, it's
Because
supposed to, but it only works if you're standing inside of it.
so
If you're
I
standing
wonder,
inside the occlusion plane,
like
it calls.
just to go nerd talk on this one. Maybe you don't know, maybe you do know. I don't know.
Sure, yeah, I love nerd talk.
I've had a
Let's
few
do it.
I've had a few arguments with people before because room bounds are phenomenally fucking annoying to set up.
Oh yeah,
What I always wonder is why use room bounds if you've got enough space. Like I understand in some cells, shit is really compact, right? But if you've got enough space to basically occlusion plane everything, and basically for people who are wondering, room bounds in the game, I might as well explain it. Room bounds in the game are basically just giant square boxes, and they have a portal, a door area, where if you're in line of sight of the door, it will render things in the next room that's connected to that door.
In
So
the
that
line
way,
of sight.
yeah, so that way the game doesn't render the full interior cell and you don't suffer a performance loss.
Right.
What occlusion planes do is they're just giant invisible boxes to you, but anytime that basically if you're on one side of the invisible box, it won't render anything on the other side of the invisible box. So if you had a full square room and you placed an occlusion plane in the center, you would just see the fog of the game and empty space for half the room, and the second you walked through it, it would render the room, and behind you wouldn't see anything. So they're performance optimization. So the fights I was always getting in Skyrim was me and my dungeon designer at one point during Dragon Breaks, all we would do was occlusion plane rooms. Like we would occlusion plane entire dungeons. There'd be like 30, 40 occlusion planes, whatever, because they're really easy to put in. You just pop them in, pop them behind walls, and I'd have people bitching that why I didn't room bound and shit, and I'm like, well, it does the same thing.
Sort of.
Okay.
And I'll tell you now why you don't do it. You don't do it because if you have two occlusion planes intersecting each other, it doubles the calculations for the occlusion culling calculations. Because
so
you have two planes
that connects with another one.
Yeah, even like on a diagonal, if you have two planes and they're overlapping each other, that doubles the calculations. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah. So it's calculating what's behind the first portal plane is being occluded, and then it goes and calculates what's behind the second one, instead of a room bounds, which is, by the way, a room bounds is also a multi bounds. It's the same thing. Yeah. It's just there for interiors instead of exteriors. So
I almost want to bring up the creation kit right now because I think with this one they allowed the ability to merge occlusion planes.
Yes, you can merge occlusion planes now, and that's why. Because that's down on the calculation.
So I might start doing that. I'll probably start looking into that because I hate using room bounds. I really do.
It's like the one little technology in the GEC that I've really had to freaking learn because of A World of Pain is so complicated and there's so much clutter and shit that I had to learn how to do it. Yeah. And there's something that they never put on the wiki about room bounds, and that is you can link them. Mm-hmm. You can link them together to create complex shapes, and they never ever put that on the wiki.
That's not even in the Skyrim wiki, by the way.
That's not in this. Yeah, it's not in the Skyrim wiki, and it's not in the Oblivion one either. And
that's what killed me for it because I was always trying to make because you're right, because making complex shapes because I'd have rooms that weren't square, and then the next room would intersect with my room bound from the first one, because I'm like, what the fuck? And then I would
hell? Yeah.
And you know I think the other problem is that I don't think they did it in the base game for Skyrim. They literally made portals inside of fucking bigger rooms with complex shapes.
Their dungeon designer quit, remember, after Fallout 3?
Ah.
And if you go and look in Fallout 3 and you wonder why the game runs so well for how complex some of this stuff is, it's because whoever was doing the optimization in that game really, really knew what they were doing. And I use that as a template because you go look at something like the Dunwich building and it's like, wow. Wow, this guy really knew it. Or you go and look in like Chevy Chase and it's just like, there's multi-bounce boxes everywhere. What do these do? You know, but they're not linked. They don't have any of the statics linked to them because multi-bounds actually work like the room bounds, except they don't need a portal.
Okay.
And that's the use of them because I've been working on Fallout Uncut and I've been sticking them all over Freeside.
While we're on Nerd Talk, just to this one people are gonna have some fun listening to. Something that was recently discovered here, I think about a week or two or whatever, was that basically mod compatibility in Fallout 4 is going to suffer a incredibly massive hit for anybody who edits anything in the world spaces. Because Bethesda, in their search for optimization for all you shitty fucking console users who buy crap that gets outdated by the moment you purchase it, your shit, they optimized it so that like they would compute giant nifs in like 3x3 grids or some shit.
Right.
You've been following it a little bit better than me. I've seen John bitching about it for days now.
Basically what they've done is they made it an automated process to take all the things that are interconnecting in a cell and make a giant static collection out of it and turn it into one NIF to cut down and remove all the unseen faces in that collection to for optimization reasons. It's pre-culling is what it is. So and for those of us who remember generating load in back in the day before Skyrim, before they made it, only take like an hour, where it used to take weeks. to generate load. Okay, well now we've got this new thing with the pre-culling, and guess what? It takes weeks to do. so, and on top of it, you can't have more than one mod editing that in a cell. One will take precedence over the other, and
And the other
even if
one, nothing will show up, right?
a mod moves something, like Arthmore pointed out, by the way, of a tire iron next to the bridge in Sanctuary, it won't load the pre-culling because a different mod has changed something in the cell and it'll reject it. How
Yeah.
stupid is that?
It's kind of changed my game plan for the extra episodes for my quest mod if I get to them.
Dude.
So I was planning on like a scavenger hunt around the wasteland to go to different places and adding a few new things. And it's like it seems like the better bet would be for me to take the entirety of my quest out of the Commonwealth and make my own world spaces.
Yes, exactly. Make your own. The only way to really do anything is to just make your own world space, and any interiors you do,
Which apparently you can't run in right now.
right, and any interiors you do are gonna screw. You can't do anything without breaking running. What is with that?
That's
You
right.
can't even
That's right.
you can't
When-
place anything. You can't even like open a. You can't even put a door on a building to load into your own cell, or it'll break running in the cell. What the fuck?
but it just works, bro.
It just works, bro.
Just
See
open
that?
up the CK. It just works.
See that dialogue option? Well, you can't make that choice. You see that mountain over there? Well, it's got a occlusion plane in front of it.
Somebody did have a great idea, by the way, for a companion. They said we should make a companion whose dialogue is entirely composed of shit Pete Hines has said in the past.
And Todd Howard. It has to be shit that he said too, because he has said some shit. Let me tell you.
It makes me wonder if they actually even work on their games.
They don't.
Okay.
Todd Howard is the creative director. I guarantee he didn't fucking have.
Oh, so he's like all those people who get up and like, hey guys, like, oh, just this morning I got another message. Not shitting on you, dude, but I kind of am if you ever listen to this, which you clearly don't, because you wouldn't have asked me to join your huge project if you'd ever paid attention to my fucking video stream. But they're like, come join our huge project. I'm currently the lead writer and creative director or whatever. I'm like, I want to respond with see you in 4 years when you cancel your project.
Yeah.
Like, fucking creative directors that don't know what they're doing.
Oh, it's kind of like, the whole thing with the Frontier. No, not the Frontier. I'm not going to badmouth that. What was it? Lone Star. They're a bunch of artists and they're a bunch of writers, and they have no fucking idea how to use the creation kit at all. There's none. But we're gonna make this amazing mod and get national exposure, and Pete Hines loves the idea, and but we don't know how to do it.
They don't even know the work involved. Like it's
like, do you guys just explaining to them how much of a pain in the ass it is to rename files for dialogue is enough to make
that. It's like but anybody who's ever worked, you know what people are not putting up, the let's build a huge new world bullshit, are the people who've tried it before. Mm-hmm. I've canceled mine. I canceled mine a year and a quarter into making Discworld for Skyrim. Like it's a shit ton of work. Like I worked thousands and thousands and thousands of hours on that fucking shit. Like holy crap. And they're just like, well, we'll get this done. Our time frame is like a year and a half. I'm like,
yeah, right.
this is where we get that settlement needs your help quests, because that should fill in all the lack of shit we have in our game.
Dude, and this is where I have the utmost respect for Obsidian. They made that goddamn game in 18 months.
Mad props for them for that.
Dude, yeah. You guys are my heroes that you could make such a quality piece of work in 18 months. That's just insane. Even though you already had, 80% of the assets.
It's true.
From Fallout 3, but still building a world space and doing all the quests and all the voice work.
Oh, the voice work especially.
The voice work is like the most
that's why
soul-crushing thing to do in mod making.
That's why I was so like, I'm kind of happy that I've been working like a couple of days a week at least to like, because I'm paying all my voice actors for this shit, because you're right, it's soul crushing. Like I'm paying people, and even then I figure I'll only have about an 80% return rate as far as people getting their shit done on time, and I'll have to like recast 20%. That's how hard it is to get voice actors, because they're just as bad as, and sorry for any voice actors listening, some of you guys are fucking amazing, but the amount of amazing of you don't add up to the amount of shitters who fucking, I'm gonna get into this and it's so great and I bought these dots, and they come in with great quality, and
Yeah,
then they give you 90% of the lines in 1 week and then take 6 months to get you the last 4 lines.
I know, and it's just like
Ugh.
I can't have that. I've been listening to some guy talk about it, and I was like, man, I'm going to be a Nazi with these guys.
You
You give
gotta
me the
pay for it.
lines, and you do them in 2 weeks, or I'm going to cut you and get someone else.
That's what you, even if you're doing it for free, do it like that. But if you pay
Yeah,
them, you've actually got at least a leverage wedge over their heads. Like
right.
you don't pay them until everything comes in.
Comes in. Well, here I'll give you a if you do half the work, I'll give you a small advance. But if you want the rest of
No,
it, you have to
none,
finish.
no advance. Fuck it.
No advances.
I'm
Okay,
so burned on voice actors. Like, I mean,
I'm not going to pay them.
and once again, I'm gonna say,
So,
to be completely fair, there's some fucking amazing ones, and right now Helen especially is working on our entirety of our radio station, and she was a
oh,
voice actor I
nice.
picked up when I was doing was it Chronophage? Yeah, when I was doing Chronophage. And so there you go. Yeah, there's some amazing voice actors out here who actually want to get into it and put in the work and stuff. And the problem is that you don't know who they are unless they've got a
Yeah,
full rep for it, and you don't know if you're casting for a lot of people like you're saying you are, you're going to get the shitters. You're going to get
yeah.
the
Well, and it's like I feel I want to ask other guys, hey, can you recommend any voice actors? But I don't want to steal their shit, you know. So
Nah, most people would give it up. I can't see a reason to like hoard your voice actors. It's not like they're working for you full time and you're helping them get exposure.
true.
So I
But
can't I
then
can't see
again, you
that.
guys have done all the legwork, you
That's
know.
true. And we found out that they were. Well, I mean, Maddie had put up a thread at one point in the, or I did. I don't know if I did or Maddie did. One of us did, and we were posting shit in the mod author forum for reliable voice actors.
Hmm.
So, but I got buried, of course, underneath
Of
everybody
course.
crying about their feelings and shit. And
Oh, somebody posted my screenshots up on. Sorry, Ellie. I just. She's
watch
got.
out. She's we
Hey, I'm
she
Finn.
accepted she accepted the title of Princess Kate. You're screwed.
Hey, I don't give a shit. I'm old and I'm fat and I don't give a fuck anymore. I used to be in a punk rock band.
As long as you're over 260, she can't deadlift you.
I weigh at least 320.
Okay, you
So,
got me beat, so she can't deadlift you.
and I used to be a bouncer in a bar. Good luck good luck with that.
You'll get the shit kicked out of you by a 5'5" girl. Just
Only if she wants to eat a bar stool.
so in this stream, we're gonna throw down with Ellie. No.
We're gonna throw down with Ellie. No, really, I respect Ellie and I don't hate her or anything. I just
Okay, you keep. I mean, this is like
some of the shit that she.
This is completely unprofessional of me, but I'm walking into the
Grandstands.
kitchen to get a soda. So
Yeah,
got the
you do
mic
that.
for like a minute and a half. Go.
Hey, I'm gonna go get a cup of coffee. No, I'll do that when you come back. Hey, everybody, Darren's in the kitchen jerking off.
I can still hear you and yelling.
I knew you could.
I got thirsty. It's hot here.
Dude, it's like 80 something degrees here today, man. I live in southern Idaho, man. It gets like 105 and 110. Oh god.
Yeah, and half the state burns randomly.
Yes. Yeah. No, that was when I lived in Washington. Half the state burned randomly.
Was that? Oh wait, were you in Washington last year then?
No. We moved out of Washington like 3 years ago because all the people from California just made it intolerable. Seriously, it's like it used to be such a nice place to live, and it's just
that's where I'm from. We're from Roy, and that's where my parents live. And
Where?
Roy, Washington, and by
in Roy.
Spanaway, yeah. So I lived in Tacoma and Seattle and shit and then I moved down here about 8 years ago, and I went back up there. When I went back up there about 4 years ago, I think it was, when it started going really to hell, like when they fucking started pulling everybody out of Iraq and Afghanistan and relocating them to McCord and shit. And
Oh, dude. Mayor Giuliani in New York loaded up all of their homeless on planes and sent them to Seattle.
I can see that.
He did. It was just like, if I could stick a knife in Slade Gordon's forehead, I probably would. You've ruined my state, man. You conservative.
Yeah, it was God, it was fucking terrible when I got that. I couldn't believe it.
Dude,
I was coming up from California with my wife, and I'm just like, no, traffic up here is really good. It was just like shit everywhere. I'm like,
shit everywhere, and
this
then you
is
get out of
worse
your
than
car,
Cali.
and there's some dude on meth janking down the street with that walk. You know that walk.
Yeah,
And
but I'm from Southern California. That's
oh,
just normal here too. Like,
yeah,
there's
well,
not
it's
a.
normal there, but dude, I lived everywhere from Auburn to North Bend to Bremerton to North Everett to Marysville. I've lived all over the state over there. So and it's just like, and when I was telling you, I grew up in the ghetto in South Seattle. I'm not kidding, man. I lived in West Seattle in the middle of the ghetto. That was scary shit, dude. There was burned out cars and stuff in the middle of the street, and it's just like, am I in LA? You know,
I know, right?
it was
Fucking.
that bad.
We don't
Like
even go near LA. Like, we'll take freeways to go all the way around it in the
around
circumference. Like,
exactly, and it's like, dude, Martin Luther King Jr. way? Are you serious? That's no. There's no yuppies there going, hey man, want a bite of coffee? You know.
I wonder how he feels about that in his grave. All the streets named after him are ghettos.
I know, right? And it's just like, what happened? When I was a kid, I used to be able to go to the Seattle Center by myself when I was like 8 years old and stay there all day, ride all the rides and stuff. Nowadays, as soon as I got off the monorail, I would be snatched and raped in a bathroom somewhere. You know.
Oh, I hate big cities.
I used to love that town, and now it's just so bad.
Well, I think honestly though, in light of all the things, just not to get too political, but you should really respect their life choices that they want to rape and molest you in a bathroom.
Dude, I lived in Everett. They had a deal with the state to move all of the sex offenders into Everett. When I lived the last 2 years I lived there, I got a sex offender notification every single day for 2 years. Every day. And I lived a block from a school. I'm not kidding, man. I am not kidding.
Oh, the world we live in.
I know. It's just like, what is wrong with these people?
But don't insult somebody in public. That'll hurt their feelings.
Oh, God.
We become such a stupid society.
Remember I told you I was in a punk rock band? Our motto was, if you're insulted, then you deserve it.
Pretty much. I mean, no, that should be the motto of life. Like, insult is taken, not given.
Yeah. And I used to always tell people, what you think of me is none of my business.
And that's what I don't understand about people. Like, I mean, that's why I introduced, I don't know if you watched the first part of the live stream for last week. But I introduced Robin as the lead nigger in charge of the Nexus.
I saw that. Yeah, I watched the whole thing, and he's just like, Darren, you're a cunt. Well, you are.
Yeah.
So, but like, hey, you're just like, hey, I'm a cunt. Yeah, so yeah.
But see, it's the thing is like, people don't understand. I get that there's people out there who want to be liked by people, right? But in order to be insulted by what somebody says, in order to let words affect you, you have to actually give gravity to the person saying them. So you have to actually value their opinion. Yeah, you have to care. And I guess that's why it doesn't affect me, is I'm sociopathic enough that I really don't give a shit about 99.9% of the people I'll ever meet in my life.
I only care about my peers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And my friends.
I care about people I respect, and it takes a little bit to earn my respect, and that's why it's like. And I mean, there's people I care. Like I actually do. I care about Robin's opinion. I respect him. I do respect the guy, and for everything he's done. But what he thinks of me on a personal level isn't really gonna affect me that much, because I'm just like, yeah, pretty much what he's saying is true. I'm okay with it. I'm a cunt. Yeah, I'm a prick.
So what?
I think if more people owned up to like what they actually were, but instead of having their parents tell them that they're good people their whole life, like, I mean, clearly my mother did not tell me that. I was pretty much, I was validated as a piece of shit from a young age, and I've taken that with me into life, and it's done good for me, I don't think that I'm deserved the world.
No, I mean,
I kind of do.
I was shit on too. My mom loved me to death. My dad hated my guts. I hated him back. What's the diff? Sure, I'm damaged. So what?
You're not as damaged as the people whose parents loved them so much they never let them See a negative comment.
What? Yeah, that's what scares me is I see some of my cousins and stuff, and they were, I don't want to, they were raised in a very religious household and stuff, and I'll give you a little story. We we they really liked my mother, that she was their aunt, and they loved her to death. And we used to do stuff for them. We'd buy them Nintendo games and buy them movies and stuff. But they were so sheltered that we bought them ET, and it scared the shit out of them, made them want to cry. And their dad like didn't give it back to us. He burned it as like satanic or something. And I'm like, wow,
Well, to be
that is
fair,
heavy.
it was George Lucas's writing, so it is technically in some
No,
level
no,
satanic.
Steven Spielberg's,
Oh, Steven
but
Spielberg. Why am I fucking out of it?
anyway,
Yeah,
and
you're
it's just
right.
like, and now those kids are adults and they have children of their own, right? And one of them's daughter is 5 years old now, and she can't talk
What the?
because they won't educate her at all, and they talk to her like ooh boo boo baby baba talk. I'm dead serious, and it makes me
And it
it
scares this. It's the future of this
it
shit.
makes me sick. It makes me sick that people propagate this willful ignorance thing.
And
If I'm gonna,
do you know what's interesting to me that it's like I think it's primarily, I mean, a white problem, and that's saying something. It's like because
well, no, I think it's an everybody problem.
I think it depends. I think it depends. It depends on the culture you came from and the culture you're in. Because
True.
I think if you've been in America for over 50 years, like if you're a second generation or third generation, especially, um, America. I'm just speaking on this behalf. I know they've got issues in European countries as well with this kind of crap, but like in the warehouse I've been working at to help out, it's mostly Mexican employees, and they're all just come over here. Like none of them are second generation, right?
Mhm.
Every single last one of them has like kids that are well rounded. Like they don't coddle their kids. They fucking But what I do see is I see a little bit of the opportunity coddling, which is the thing you get with second generation because their parents had a hard time because I mean obviously either they came in legally or they jumped the border at some point
Mhm.
and they freaking they made their way here to America in some way or another and they've been working their asses off so they're trying to give their kids every opportunity. And the problem is that then their kids who didn't have to struggle and got a lot of opportunity from their parents and help will then raise their third generation kids that are just going to be little shitters. And
Exactly.
that's the problem. It's like I have so much like my parents were not the smartest crayons in the box. I mean, I love them to death, but
Hey, me neither.
yeah, I mean, me and my I have three sisters, and we're all incredibly smarter than our parents. But our parents let us fuck up. I mean, I worked
Yeah.
construction, right? And my dad, I can't show pain in life. I was talking to somebody like this. I just don't because my dad has blown like 15 gauge nails through his hand and hasn't even shown like a lick of pain. He just take his hand, pull the nail out with pliers, and wrap his hand up with duct tape and cloth and get back to work. I'm like, I can't fucking bitch about stubbing my toe. Like,
Exactly. Well, I identify with you there. My dad was worked in a lumber mill, and he blew out his back and had groin and head injuries and shit, and he'd still go to work. He was a complete fucking asshole and an idiot, but he was still my dad, and I loved him, even though we never came to terms. But
well, see,
I'm kind of the same. I'm in the same boat, except I'm not exact. I've come to the realization that I'm not as exactly as smart as I used to think I was because I'm older and wise enough
yeah,
to know
that
that
happens
now.
after what 28 or so.
Oh, I didn't figure it out until I was about
Oh, so
36.
you're really dumb. I'm
Oh, exactly. I'm slow. Okay. I
stubborn.
learn stuff, and when I do, I tend to get better at it than anybody else does. But it just takes me a long time to get there. Anyway, let me segue into that whole thing with into modding with that. Is that's something that we could do in our mods with our stories is to reflect, use it as the same thing like books and movies and stuff as a reflection of our modern world and really tell some stories there that are quite relevant to the situations that we're in right now. Just it's a way to express how we feel without being affronting about it. and that's something that's missing in the world today that I kind of think, and that modding could be really special in that regard is because it's still kind of in its infancy, and we could tell those stories in a way that will be engaging for our audience and be and also be satisfying for us as authors, and create a new medium for expression that isn't ruled by product,
Yeah,
if you get what I mean.
I actually completely agree, because there's been I think Orson Scott Card helped with a video game once, and fuck, what's his name? One of the guys who does fantasy writing is helping with another one currently, and they've made good points that it's a medium to tell stories, and some of us aren't the best writers in the world, and the cool thing is that an interactive medium like a video game allows you to tell your story in a different way that connects with people than reading does. And I'm a big fan of reading too. I read like fucking alcoholic drinks, but there's I can't.
I used to read a lot, but I got tired of. But anyway, go on.
I actually I don't think I've read anything since September. The no, I haven't. I haven't even picked up. I've because there's a reason I picked up the last Terry Pratchett book to ever get published in September, and it's just literally sitting right behind me. Just I don't know. I'm really weird emotional about it. Like, I'm really pissed at it. I don't want to read it. And it's like
It's the Grail because it's the end.
It's the last book I'll ever read by the man. It's
Yeah.
like, because I've read all the other ones.
I understand.
So, it's one of those weird things. Like, I should pick up a book, and it's been so long, and I'm itching to like read something, and I'm like, well, I've got to read that one. Fuck you, book. Just sits
Fuck
there.
you, book. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
go for it.
I feel the same way about Stephen King after he had his head injury. He was such an amazing author before that happened, and after that, he just kind of lost it to me, and his novels became uninteresting.
He's an interesting one too, because like you said, not ruled by product is something that one of my favorite authors, John Ringo, is a sci-fi militaristic writer, and used to be in the military. But he one of the other ones was the Sword of Truth novel guy, but I can't remember his name right now. That's been how long since there's a point. The problem I have with a lot of authors is sometimes they get to a point where they start writing in order to sell a book and not writing because it's what they love, and you can see the transition when you're reading.
Yep. You can see the transition,
and it's amazing. And it's like some of my most favorite authors, like Timothy Zahn, John Ringo, they've been writing for years and years and years. And Terry Pratchett, I mean, another big reason, he wrote to do what he loved, and he wrote to do what he loved up until the fucking moment he died.
Yeah,
and it showed in his work.
Excuse me.
And I think you're right about that. Is that the big company mentality? And there's a lot of game studios that don't start like that. Clearly don't start like that. But they end up morphing themselves into the monster based on their own success, and then they kill off what made them successful.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened to Bethesda.
It's just phenomenal to me that they don't ever see it.
Yeah. That's the reason why Morrowind was so good, is because they were under pressure and they were gonna fold. That's the reason why the game was just so damn good. You need that, like you said, even with kids and stuff, you need what is the word? You need the hardship.
Well, oh yeah, that brings me back too. But I was gonna mention that about modding, because you were saying about modding the stories, and I was actually gonna segue into that when I was thinking about it. My parents, when I was talking about my parents and my dad, my parents would let us burn, like they would let us crash and burn on things. My dad has sat there and watched me as I had set up something to nail and blown a nail through my own finger. And he knew it was going to happen. He was sitting there watching me with the wrong nails in the gun, setting up, holding it stupid, and let me blow it through my finger. And then the moment I do that, I'm screaming in pain, and I look at him because I know he's been watching me, and he said, "You ain't going to do that again, are you?"
Exactly.
Like,
you don't learn unless you make mistakes.
And that's what the creation kit is going to do to you when you're modding. If you can't, I mean, anybody watching earlier watched me fuck up like 20 times and then try to learn shit from fog and crap. And it's not that I'm the best modder out there. I'm that the fucking what makes you a great modder is your determination level.
Your determination and your perseverance, exactly. Because you have an idea and you're gonna see it through no matter what. It's like anytime a lot of people these days don't have any hobbies and they don't know what it is. All they do is they go to work, they do their job, they come home, they watch TV or movies, and then they fuck their girlfriends or their boyfriends or whatever, and they go to sleep, and that's their life. And I find that sad. But without a hobby, or at least something, your job is something that you
Something you
love to
love,
do.
yeah.
Yeah. See, now my when I used to work before I lost my job because the stupid owner had went and got some strange disease in a foreign country and dropped over dead in 6 months. I loved my job. I was the assistant manager of a music store. I got to play with guitars all fucking day long and talk to all my friends in the music scene, and I got to meet all these really cool people that were huge. It's an experience to meet Lemmy. You know what I mean? Or Bo Diddley, or some, rest his soul. But it was so great to because I was the technician and I got to work on amps and pedals and guitars and I loved it. I just loved it. I
Oh,
loved to
especially
get
if
up.
you were up in Seattle too.
Oh yeah, I'd love to get up in the morning and go, okay, what am I going to do today? Well, I'm going to rebuild this Fender amp for this customer over here, and I'm going to have a hell of a time doing it because I just love to play with that stuff and I love how it sounds, and I'm a guitar player too, and I totally get it, and I know how it should sound, and it was amazing. So I understand what it's like, that creation thing. I did it for so long that I have that in me, and I like to make music and do stuff like that, and I like to mod. I found something new because I got bored with I'm not a carpenter, I'm not a mechanic for cars or anything like that, but I still like to make things.
Hmm.
And modding, when I found it just a couple of years ago, I've only been doing this for a couple of years. It it was just like, wow, this is great. I could do this. I tried to do something, and I'm like, well, I used to be a programmer, and I noticed that FNV 4 GB doesn't work anymore because something changed with Steam. So I looked in the NVSE source code, and I was like, oh well, that's it. They changed this. So I went into the source code and changed it, and boom, it worked again. Okay, well, I'm going to throw it up on the net because it's open, on the Nexus because it's open source, and boom, there's my first mod. And then I'm like, well, I like this other
It's
stuff.
also your biggest monster.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not mine. It's actually, monochrome wenches. It's all hers.
You just
All I did was
fix
fix
the
it.
problem.
Yeah. Well, see, that was my job too in real life. I fix things. That's what I do. I fix things. I find bugs and I fix them. Because I like to do that. I'm a problem solver. It's what
Well,
I find enjoyable.
honestly, that's literally, by the way, for people who do, if the problem solver mentality, because that's what I am as well, and that's what I did in my jobs, like even working construction.
Hmm.
Everything I ever viewed, I viewed as a problem, even if it was just installing cabinets, putting in a handrail system. Well, there's a problem. You have to make it look nice. Well, how do you solve the problem? And that's literally all modding is. I mean, that's
Yeah.
when we look at modding, we're like, well, there's a problem. There's no good quests. They're all shitty. And then everything goes from there. Like,
There's no good story. It's all shitty. There's no good dungeons. They're all shitty.
like
Yeah.
none of the mods I've made to date have been anything but solving problems for shit that I needed to figure out in order to make something better in the long run.
Exactly. And that's exactly why I made FOV slider. 75 FOV, that it's like I have my face like smashed into the monitor, makes me want to puke in my trash can. So I coded FOV slider, with MCM so that I could not have to open the goddamn console every time I ran the game and disable achievements.
Speaking of though, that face slammed into the monitor thing works really well on an Oculus Rift.
It does.
That's about it though.
That's about it. Yeah. I just who does this anymore? It's like I don't understand game companies now. It's like, okay, people are okay. I understand that console users are 10 feet away from the TV, sitting on the couch, jerking off, drinking a beer. But you're gonna port something to the PC. At least give us the options for the people that are
Well,
sitting
and the
to.
worst part is they're there. Like the options are in there. If you can do it in console, they could have just given it a game slider in the settings menu.
But then they have to make code specifically to handle the change in perspective, which they don't want to do. That's extra development time. They did it in Borderlands 2,
Yeah.
and the coder even did a blog post about it. And I'm so happy when I actually ran Doom, even though the game sucks, that option is there and everything works like it should. And same thing with the Talos Principle, which is a fantastic game, even though it has, religious connotations. It's still a fantastic game. And Crow Team really, really spent time making their engine do things, and the settings are even called anti-motion sickness settings. Seriously. And it's like, more if more devs would pay attention. I still to this day cannot play BioShock because it makes me want to throw up. It doesn't matter.
Oh, it's such a good game though.
I know it's such a good game, and I'm going to end up watching somebody play it on YouTube because I keep trying to play it and I keep trying to play
Wait,
it.
which one? Infinite or by
All
either?
of them.
Don't watch two. Don't watch. Just skip two. Go one and Infinite.
I've been trying to play the first game, and I've found a workaround to make it work in widescreen and to have a wider field of view, but there's just something about the rendering engine that gives me a bloody migraine headache. And because that's the kind of motion sickness I get. I don't get the pukes. I get a migraine headache, like the back of my neck just feels like somebody hit me with a hammer. So, and the game's got such beautiful narrative and story, and
it's so fucking good, dude.
I know. And it's like, I want to play it. And it's like, and I can't. And it's
one of those that I was so shocked when they shut down the company for it after Infinite.
I know.
That was just like, well, I mean, they started with a 15-man group, and they're gonna design a new game and then hire and do everything. Well, I'm like, I hope they actually go crazy with it, because I don't think in a long time I've played games with such good narrative and storytelling and just a grasp of what they were telling as well, and the psychological and everything involved. And it's fucking phenomenal. Like, I'd put their way of storytelling and how it was executed as one of the few things that's above Witcher 3.
Right.
Like, it's phenomenal the way they executed it all.
I haven't actually played Witcher 3 yet. I've been meaning to.
Great. Like, I'm gonna institute tons of things from BioShock in
Great.
my quest mod. Like, the way that you get the audio logs and they tell the story, and the area around the audio log tells the story as well that's in the audio log. And
right.
I always loved that about it. It was like, it was just something that brought the world connection together. And it's something I was talking about with one of my writers about. It's like, that's what I really want it to be. Like, I want because you're venturing in. I mean, that's something that I will give them props for in Fallout 4, was they did a good job at snapshotting things that were happening when the bomb went off, are things that happened after. But the problem with the snapshot is, you know how you had like corpses sitting around doing things or whatever, things that,
right.
It gave you a snapshot. Or you had teddy bears playing chess, or teddy bears taking a shit with a newspaper. Like, those little things were actually kind of cool, because you're like, well, somebody went around and they propped these teddy bears up while they were doing whatever. It allows you to kind of tell a story in your own mind about how did this happen, what did it do, but it only gives you that snapshot.
Right.
And I think tying an audio log in as well as with a computer log of like, you can expand on that, and actually with very little effort. Because an audio log is phenomenally little effort.
Yep.
And very little effort with an audio log and a little bit of scene setup, you can expand the story of your dungeons, of your buildings, of your world to be so much bigger than it actually is in the player's mind, because they'll start having their imagination go about what happened next, where did they go, and it will bring people into the story, because that's part of what I want to do too, is like hide audio logs around telling the story of current events and during the apocalypse events, during the nuclear holo, whatever. I want to actually, so that way the player gets curious. So then they explore, because they want to find audio log number 2, or they find audio log 4 first. There's no real drive for that in the game at the moment, because it's just like shoot people, pick up shit, go back to settlement, and play Minecraft.
Yeah, and there's nothing there. And that's one of the things that they did in Fallout 3 too, is that they had the little teddy bear scenes, is what I call them. They have that all over. That's one of their level designers does this. He's also Gary, one of the Gary guys. Have you noticed that there's always 4 blocks laying around in places, and they say Gary?
No.
You haven't noticed that? Okay, well, next time you're playing Fallout 4 and you see children's blocks laying around.
Oh yeah, okay. I never actually read them. That's funny.
Yeah, they say Gary. I've taken multiple screenshots of those because Gary. Gary. But yeah, that's one of the narrative things that they did in Fallout 3 and Obsidian did in New Vegas too, is they had, well, a specific instance is Mothership Zeta. I know a lot of people hated that, and that's one of the things
I'm
that I really.
so glad they hate it because spoiler alert, I might include aliens. Okay, no,
Yeah.
but I know
you
Bethesda won't. Like
you know they
Bethesda
will.
won't touch it now.
Uh, that's one of the things they did in it though that was great was the audio logs. Like you said, the audio logs really made that DLC for me, and I think people don't like it because they didn't listen to them.
Well, yeah, that's the one thing we noticed in Skyrim. People don't read shit. People don't look at
Listen,
shit. Well, they don't
yeah,
even look at shit. When you watch their gameplay, oh my goodness. I was watching one of my friends live stream Stratos, the stupid house I did for the stupid contest last year, right?
hmm
Stratos is extremely simple, but I realized there's an issue with the way the bridge clipped. But basically, you're on one of the Dwemer platforms, and it's right above a duplicate Dwemer platform, and there's a staircase going down to it. One of the ramps, one of the spiral ramps.
hmm
Well, if you stand on the top, you don't see the start of that ramp unless you go and you like walk right up to the edge of it and look over the edge. Well, if nobody ever turns their camera downwards a little bit when they're near that edge, they could run in circles on that fucking platform the whole time and never see it. And that's when I realized that people don't actually look around and pay attention.
they
I
don't.
watched
No,
so many people like, how do I get down to the next level? Like, there's a fucking. But the worst part is there's a guardrail around the entire circle, and there's two breaks, one for the bridge across to the other ramp, and one for the ramp down. No,
insufficient visual cue. You have to give them.
apparently a bright flashing strobe light and a
No,
neon sign.
not a bright splashing flood, but a light. Just a light
Ah,
works. That's one of those level design things that I've picked up over the years. Is that lighting
but it's a
is
huge
so
problem.
important.
It's a
Uh,
huge problem in Skyrim. Nobody looked around. Nobody explored. Like there
Well,
was.
yeah, because they weren't used to that.
That's true.
That's the whole point of Fallout is to explore. It's the Elder Scrolls was never like that. The whole point of the Elder Scrolls was to go kill shit and become powerful.
Except for you started out really powerful and
Well, in Skyrim, you started out really powerful. In Oblivion and in Morrowind, you were nothing.
oh, and also we should probably clarify that. I was meant to clarify when you talk about how Morrowind was such a great game. I'll never forget this in Morrowind. By the way, guys, it's this is why everybody hails it, and everybody who's only played after Oblivion, any game after Oblivion, will realize why we think this is better. Maybe when I was playing Morrowind, I got to a fucking what the fuck was it? The giant pyramid is shitty, whatever, off to the east, lower side. It's been so long since I played. But I went and I killed somebody. Like I was just like, oh, I want their fucking armor. So I hid in a corner so they're the only one there because this is something else you didn't have. You didn't have stab a chicken and everybody wanted to murder you bullshit.
Exactly.
Because you literally could hide in ambush. I killed off like 45 guards because I would just hide, wait for them to patrol, and then just murder the shit out of them while no one was looking, and nobody would come ass rape me because, well, they didn't know. But I killed this person, and then it says you have like I can't remember what's the title when you killed an essential at that point, or like an essential like you've doomed the world or some shit.
Yeah,
like do you want to reload? Or there was no essential. There was no I go down on my knees and then get up and forget that you ever tried to stab the shit out of me. Like
Yeah, you've killed an essential character that you can no longer complete the story or
now
whatever.
now I will give credit where credit is like here's it's not credit. This is pure laziness because me as an individual mod maker, I love the fact that I can make people invulnerable, essential, protected, or ignore the player's hits because it allows me to force fuck you with my story without having to worry about all the variables that you can do. And it's a very lazy method because I don't have the fucking time as an
Right.
individual. They're a $1 billion company.
They could take the time.
They already did with Morrowind, like way
Yeah.
back when. And it's not even a whole shit ton of time. It's just more effort than I'm willing to put in personally.
Oblivion did it in 18 months. What's your problem, Bethesda? You know what? I think they purposely ignore New Vegas because they made a better game.
It's just the same way they ignore the fact that Nexus exists.
They ignore everything that they don't want. Just like how Pete Hines, as soon as you say anything that's contradictory to their viewpoint, he'll ban you from his Twitter and blah blah blah. It's just the most.
The world's best PR guy.
Yeah, it's the most egotistical, out of touch thing that it's like you're just flipping everybody off. Why would you do that? You
Well,
know,
I think that's why Robin was kind of smirking and we were all bashing Bethesda on the. No, not to call you out there, Robin, but we saw it. The
what,
and I don't
dude? The
blame you because
Bethesda nut writers drive me nuts on the forum. That's why I don't go to the Bethesda forum.
oh, and
And
I mean
it's just like, come on,
it,
suck it hard, cram it
oh,
down in there. You know, it's just like,
and it's something I was telling somebody too. They was like, despite any shit that I've ever given the Nexus, despite actually any shit the Nexus has ever done that's been bad publicity, even if Robin Dark One hated us as mod authors and hated the users, there's a point where you run your business correctly, or even if you're doing things correctly, the Nexus, despite any flaws it's ever made, its decision process has always been what's good for the mod authors and what's good for the community, and they tend to err on the side of what's good for the mod authors if there's a conflict between those two. And that's an intelligent business choice.
and for the
Because
pure fact that without us, the
they
mod
don't
authors,
exist.
there is no community.
And he gets that, and that's why they've set
Yeah,
it up the way they set it up, which is smart. And it's but the problem that we're seeing now is Bethesda doesn't see that. They pretend that we are literally just drones. I mean, from the
and
fact that our names don't get mentioned in the fucking mod section, to the fact that you can't moderate your page, you have to deal with shit. You can rate mods without having to download them. They're making
you can report them and get them taken down. It's
instantly.
just,
By the way, once again, everybody, I'm telling you, you should definitely not do this. But if you report somebody, their mod instantly or their comment gets taken down immediately,
immediately.
automated. So you should never do that. You should not set up 100 fake accounts and report every mod on the fucking thing. You should not do it. And this is in complete. I think it's completely irrelevant whether it's been reported before or not, which
Did,
means, ugh.
did you know that their forum software does it too and won't let you paste posts? You can't even put hillbilly in your post
No, no.
because
Do you know
I'm
you can't
serious.
put ATM? Here's what kills me. You can't put ATM because clearly everybody's using it to say ass to mouth. So they
So stupid.
I'm trying to do at the moment, so I just type ATM, and this entire like 3 paragraph post gets flagged, and it takes me like 5 minutes to figure out what for, and it takes out ATM, right? So of course this leads me to try all the other different acronyms, which CBF works just fine.
That's
Which
great.
CBF only has one fucking meaning as far
Can't
as I
be
know.
fucked, you know.
So I've been using like CBF every time I can. Like I'm just like screw this
Even
shit.
though that's against their EULA for in their terms of service of using the
But they're
site.
clearly not moderating.
Dude, you know what drove me nuts was that in the beta, right? I got early beta access thanks to someone, and thank you very much. He knows who he is if he's listening to this. I
Are
was
you really gonna
recommending
thank
people
him for that? You've been in the beta. It was more of a punishment.
Yeah, well, I was recommending people, and I was getting grilled about who I was recommending. Well, I don't know about G stuff was like, well, I don't know about them, even though
That's
they
probably why I
made.
took for. It's probably why I took forever to get in. They actually let me in like a week before they went public or something. Because probably because I
Yeah,
told Grand Staff I wanted midgets to hit people with wiffle ball bats who program their shit.
but and then like 3 days later, they're letting the general public in
Oh
there
yeah.
with the
Oh.
with the people who've never modded, who don't even have a PC. They have an Xbox. It's just like, and
You
that
you
one
get
guy that
questions like,
posted
how do
is
I
like,
make NIF in a creation kit? How do
yeah,
I make a model?
and
Sorry,
then
guys, it's not Unreal 3. It's not an actual engine.
oh, dude, that guy that posted the creation kit's too hard. You should make it easier. And I was just, I had to refrain so much from, and
Dude,
I'm just
it's
like,
their own fault for those videos when you've got like retarded PR people like that. It's just mod, wow, and they make
uh,
it. Like, did you
it's
realize
like,
that all the mods they showed would be like at least 50 hours of work? Like, even if we could do them.
do you remember when Fallout 4 was announced and the two idiots that they had uh, at the show that were doing the commentary about, and they didn't know jack shit about Fallout? We were laughing so hard when we were going over the footage. Oh my god.
They are a very weird company, I swear to God. Like they just make money and they're just like, man, it's like the federal government. They just print money. They don't know what the fuck the shit does.
Yeah, we don't care if we have a Federal Reserve to back it up or not. Oh, inflation. Oh, hyperinflation only happens to countries like Kenya
And don't
and
worry, Trump had me laughing so hard the other day because he goes, we can never renege on our debts because we print the money. I couldn't stop laughing for like a whole day. Like I was like, oh God, this is the greatest election cycle of all time. Trump just wants to print us out of debt. Bernie Sanders wants to indebt us another $60 trillion. And Hillary's trying to lie her way into office.
I know. It's like, it's the biggest circus I've ever. When they said political circus, whoever coined that years ago was so right. They didn't know. It's just.
I'm looking forward to Fallout 5, which is coming in our lifetimes for real.
Be sure that you have, you're locked and loaded and have plenty of Molotovs.
Except for I'm in Southern California. I'm fucked. I need to make my way to Texas ASAP.
Hey, I'm in potato country. I don't have to worry about it.
Very true.
We've got the guns. We've got the potatoes to eat. Not what are they? What are those stupid things they put in Fallout 4? The potatoes? Potatoes?
Oh, the Tato plants, yeah.
We're Bethesda. We don't even follow our own lore. We fucking just throw it out the window.
That's why I think it's so funny. It's one of the biggest bitches I get from people. There wasn't 273 vaults. That's not lore friendly. I'm like, who writes the lore? They're like, Bethesda. I'm like, oh, you mean the company that changes their own lore every game?
Every game, yeah.
I was like,
cats are extinct. House said they were extinct. Fallout 2 said they were extinct. Well, guess what? There's cats. You know.
No, those are mutated rats.
Those are mutated rats. They just look like cats. They're not really cats. So we got to
make rats that learned how to meow.
Oh, that's one of the mods that I want to do. Is I want to replace all the dead cats with dead dogs because I don't like dogs. I'm not a dog person. Just because I don't like Todd Howard and his.
I tried to blow away dog meat the first time I saw him. I thought he was.
So did I.
How many people probably shot dog meat in the face as he was running at them? Like
I did, dude. I played. Have you played Fallout 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember how annoying dog meat was in Fallout 3? Hi, I'm a dog. You can't push me. I'm gonna stand in this doorway, and there's no way in hell, not even a grenade, not a mini nuke, is gonna move me.
Has somebody fixed that yet for Fallout 4? Because I know they did for Skyrim and shit. Like the companions get the fuck out of your way and shit. It's always hot files instantly when it happens.
It's the way that the skeletons are weighted.
So dumb.
It's like, okay, you can pick up and throw a human corpse, can't even budge a dog.
You can run into them with a car and it just stops your car.
It just stops. We call it over on the TTW, so we call it Bethesda physics.
In Skyrim, it was like you're on a horse and you're just running, and there's just a dude standing in the middle of the road, and your horse just slams to a halt in front of him. Like,
no, not even a person, a sword.
Oh, it's true. It's true.
Or an arrow. Okay, you can hold 500 arrows, but you can hold Z, and if you pick one up, it's just like you're picking up 5,000 pounds. It's like, what?
And the worst part is somebody made a good point. They said whatever their next game is, they're not moving away from Havoc's engine because they're hiring another Havoc's physics engine, whatever engineer.
Oh, great.
So, like, seriously, I'm...
Well, that's because they're in bed with Microsoft.
Clearly, and now they're fucking with it. Now NVIDIA's giving them anal, too.
Yeah, well, hey, one thing I'm happy about is that that Doom is supporting Vulkan so that I don't have to upgrade to Windows 10.
There you go. I was kind of sad when I heard that stupid, in case people don't know, there's an NVIDIA contest, which basically, if you enter, whatever you enter with, you've basically given up all your rights, even if it's your personal property, like your own IP.
Yeah.
So just a warning on that one. But
I figured it out pretty quick and backed out because they did it in the beta forum. You remember that G-Staff was putting out a call for that. So
yeah, and I think the total worst part was because I was kind of deciding, I was like, well, this is the fact that they're doing this is signaling to me again that they're not going to do paid modding. So I was kind of debating making like multiple entrants into every phase until I realized that but they also only allow one entry per contestant. So
but still, we don't know that. it could be after the last DLC they go surprise paid modding.
I hope so,
You
but
know, I'm sure a lot of people will be really into that. And
but my problem is
maybe
I kind of don't hope so now because of how fucked up they're doing everything. I can't imagine they do it right.
I can't imagine trying to support console users when we don't know anything about the consoles because
Well, that's part of
it
the problem. That's part of the somebody actually I think Gopher and somebody else is bringing it up because I've been making mention in our group chat that the biggest bitch I have is I can't test my shit on consoles without publishing my mod. I
right.
have both consoles, and I honestly, if they do paid modding, I don't personally have a problem buying the game for both my consoles. It'll be the first time I've booted them up in almost a year anyway, because they're giant fucking paperweights. And quite frankly, any of you dipshits playing on them, buy a fucking PC. For seriously, you should have invested your money into a fucking PC. Like Jesus Christ.
But it's so expensive, and you have to upgrade it every year, and blah blah. No, you don't.
No, you could still be playing Fallout 4 on like a GTX 670. It will play
I
Fallout 4 at the same graphics level your stupid console will.
I had my PC that I spent $1,200 on for 6 years and played countless games on it. And that was work. Plus, not only that, all the productivity software and other things that I did on it that made me countless dollars, and
Mm-hmm.
it pays for itself if you use it.
And
it
people don't understand that it's like there's I just pumped thousands of dollars into my computer. Like it's Jesus, it was fucking painful. But I did that with the utter and full realization that if they do paid modding, it'll pay for itself. If
yep.
they don't do paid modding, I'm done with this goddamn modding scene and I'm starting to use Unreal Engine 4. In which case, that will pay for itself in the like in how much better it will run Unreal Engine 4.
Or Unity.
God, I don't like Unity though. I like
Well,
Unreal. I think I really like the
does Unreal support mobile?
yeah, yeah.
It does. Oh,
Yeah.
well, that would be a good move
It can
then.
publish straight to mobile too. Like it's great. It's
The,
the
the, hey,
Unreal 4 took a lot of advances.
the best thing about Unreal is it natively supports FBX. So I mean,
Yes. Well, no, dude, it natively supports anything. It seems
anything.
like you can drag and drop from like you can just save a file in 3ds Max, pick a random format, and then grab it and drag and drop it into Unreal Engine 4. I'm pretty sure you can do that with a dot max. Like you can make a 3ds Max scene and
Yeah,
export it into fucking
export it and
Unreal.
import.
It's beautiful, and then Unreal will create the collisions based on the 3D geometry of the object you imported.
Yeah, yeah, and you don't have to
Oh,
dick with it, and the scale is exactly the same size because that's the tool that they use.
yes, it is gorgeous, and you can create geometry inside of Unreal 4.
Yep.
It has like a very minimalistic like max render engine. Like you can actually create primitives, paint them, add textures. You can modify primitives. You can do booleans, so you can actually create level design frames very
Right.
fast.
My only problem with Unreal is that I'm not a programmer anymore, and you need somebody that
Oh,
can
oh God!
program.
No! Have you played with 4?
Yeah, I played with it a little bit.
Did you not see that it's visual? It's visual drag and
Yeah,
drop.
it has visual drag and drop, but I mean, if you want to do anything with the engine that's not in it,
You are correct.
you if you want to make an
And it
RPG,
is it
if
is
you want to make an RPG on it, you need a coder.
and
You
it
know,
is faster by the way to drop the visual part. But because anybody who's used like a Max's material editor or I can't think of any other examples right now. I think Max's material editor is about all I've got for an example. But basically that's how their coding system works. Like you can just like create an integer and it pops up in a window. You pick the number and then you can drag that integer to integer, however you say it,
integer,
to
yeah.
different bubbles to like fill in things. And the same thing with super complex shit. So you can end up with what I would write in a 250 line script could end up being like 21 boxes with different lines between each of them that are connecting them all in different ways. So whereas I prefer the writing, I prefer the actual coding of stuff. I think the visual interface is actually really smart to start moving toward. And do you have an Xbox or no? You don't have Windows 10. Do you have an Xbox One?
No, I just have the controller.
You should
I
look.
hate consoles. I haven't bought one since PlayStation 2. That was my last console.
See, I deleted off of Xbox One. I think it was called Project Spark or something that they would. It's basically like a game creator, but they created a full-on visual programming interface that is basically when if do, and it's so much more complex. It literally can encompass everything you can do with like the programming in Skyrim, etc., with like Papyrus and shit.
Right.
But it's all when if do buttons. Like you just like when, and then you can select what you want it to say while button
Oh,
pressed. It's
that could be clunky though.
no, but see, whereas it's clunky, it's actually gorgeous because it can get people who've never programmed
That's
to make
true.
cool shit.
That's true. It's too high level for me. I wouldn't be able to do it because I'm immediately gonna find instances where I would need to break it in
Well, yeah,
order
yeah,
to
yeah.
make it do what I want. Because if then or else, you know.
Oh no, it's way more complicated than that. That's like the face surface value, but I was playing with it for about 2 or 3 hours, and that's when I had to uninstall it because I was like, "This is actually really fun," and you can actually do some really fast shit with it, and make like you could make like a JRPG style game in the matter of days, like just with
Wow.
some cool quick level designs and shit. It's actually I might boot it up at some point and check again and check out like people's creations and shit because some people had created like RPG levels where you could fight people in like turn-based combat and level up, and with the same exact engine and setup they did it where it was real-time combat and you would get experience by using different weapons and shit, and it was at the face value it looks excruciatingly simplistic, but when
Mm.
you actually got into it and started playing with it, I was like, holy shit, this is actually not as shallow as it first seems. They actually included all the complex shit that you could do as well. And I got some high hopes for the future. Like I think it's going to be really cool when they, because learning programming, the first thing I learned how to program, and basically the only thing I really know how to do well, and it's not even that well, is Papyrus. I learned it in
Right.
Skyrim. I broke my back learning fucking, like literally it destroyed me because I learned how to program that game in under a month. And there's still things that I don't grasp right, and I think it's because I
Well,
come at it.
it's too object oriented to.
Well,
If you're a linear thinker, it's difficult.
no. That's the problem. I come at things sideways so fucking hard. But the problem is that when I come at things sideways, like you said, problem solving, I always go under the nature of if it's simplistic and it works and it solves your problem, you use it. And there's been
Right.
plenty of times where I've asked people who are actually professional coders for help with something. They come back at me 3 hours later with 140 lines of code, and I've done it in 12
Yeah.
by that point. I'm like,
Well, that might just be that they don't understand the
no. It's a lot of
system.
times they understand it, but it's people who've actually even worked in Papyrus. The problem is that it's the way they're taught and the way they're taught to think when it comes to
Right.
programming is that they'll include all the variables, make their script super clean, make it so like what we see in Skyrim, what we probably saw in Fallout, what we see in Fallout 4 is that
Yeah.
Bethesda made template scripts. And so they made
Yes.
basically a template script that could do 10 different things 800 different ways.
Right.
And that's how programmers think. Even though you'll notice in some cases Bethesda only used that script once and they could have made it 20 times simpler. And it's amazing to me that that's the way that they think. And it's like they've burned out their creativity going to school for it. But the
Yeah.
problem that
Probably.
I have is I'm not as smart as them, but I'm figuring out ways to do things faster, but then I still need their help because I'm not as smart as them in terms of what I can do programming. But I'm always like, if a hammer will do it, why am I using a laser guided missile?
Right. Yeah. I can understand that approach totally. I'm I'm actually an old programmer, but I coded in assembly language, so I'm like the high level stuff is difficult for me because I don't think that way.
Yeah.
So Papyrus is kind of I can understand it better because it's more like C. But I've been
Yes.
like doing the OB script for quite a while now, and I'm finally getting a handle on it. And my problem with it is it's like Xedit scripting is that it's Pascal based, and it's just
God,
so
Pascal made me want to shoot myself.
yeah. I hate it. It
God,
doesn't
I
make
booted. I think I actually yelled at Orvid, I think, for this one, then before I realized that there was command lines and DOS prompt to actually convert shit back to Papyrus. Um, his decompiler, or not his
mm,
decompiler, but his compiler, yeah, something like that. One of the things was decompiling PEXs into Pascal.
yeah.
And so I literally took me like 2 days before I realized I said, fuck this, I'm waiting for the fucking CK before I deal with scripting, because I do not want to deal with fucking Pascal. Like, I could learn it, but what's the goddamn point? And then fading showed me how to do it with a command prompt to get it back to a PEX, or to a PSC, to a regular format. But which another thing I found interesting is the because I don't follow the programming languages so much, but they're saying that the 1080 for the GTX is being done in Pascal, which makes it like apparently a gajillion times more efficient. So I'm not even sure about.
That's the name. That's the name of the architecture, though. It's not the actual.
Oh, they're not using. Okay, I see.
Yeah, it's not the like. No,
this is how stupid I am when it comes to computer parts.
That's the architect. That's the code name for the architecture.
Gotcha. They should have named it something
Pascal.
like.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they name it something fucking cool? Like do it like Apple does and how they name their fucking operating systems. They're like Panther. Snow leopard.
Fuck Apple.
Gay tigress. Like
I hate Apple, man. I've hated them since the '80s, dude. I hated them. They never invented anything. They've stolen their ideas from everyone.
That hasn't ever stopped Blizzard either from making $1 billion.
That's true, but it's the ethics, and it's just like making people think that it's more than what it really is.
I see. I don't think I take as big of an issue with the ethics on this one, because one of the quotes by Terry Pratchett, once again, I'll reference him all the time, but somebody was asking him at one point if he, what he thinks about stealing ideas, because did he steal ideas from somebody else to do this or whatever? And
I've read that, yes.
Yeah, and he made the point that we don't have any originality anymore. Everybody steals from somebody else. In order to make it original, you have to adapt it to become your own. And so, as long as it's not like a direct theft, if somebody takes somebody else's idea and does it better and does it smarter, and they succeed with it and they market it better, I call that capitalism.
That's actually a good thing. What pisses me off is that they try to patent it and keep everybody else from using it.
Yes, I agree with that.
That's what pisses me off and why I don't like Apple.
Don't worry, because Mickey Mouse will soon become public domain again in another 20 years if Disney has their way.
And then they'll pay the trademark office to extend it for another 100 years, because that's how the oligarchy works in this fucking country. Yep. People just don't get it, but anyway.
That's the only reason I agree that regulated capitalism is probably not a bad thing, although I would be okay with pure unadulterated capitalism, but people would not like the death on the streets and shit.
They wouldn't like that.
I'm okay with that. Like, I think if we rounded up all the homeless people, put them in one city, and then like had a gun food drop once every week and televised the next 48 hours, we would pay off the national debt. Like, bam! Like,
Zardoz.
Serious? Yes. Jesus Christ. Now you're dating yourself and me. Fuck you.
That's the first thing that came to my mind was hovering statues spewing guns.
Oh my god. What that was Sean Connery in what, 70s?
Yeah, in the most gayest getup.
It's so awesome. It's like the best movie of all time right there. In case people just go watch it. It'll be on YouTube. You'll find Zardoz. It's just
Go on Netflix, watch it. It's great. It's like
That's right. It is on Netflix.
You'll love it. It's so bad.
And
it's like,
if you're into semi-homoerotica, like and you like Sean Connery, old Sean Connery, you're gonna be turned on a lot. I'm just letting you know this. Just think the Dothraki in the 70s. No, I'm just fucking Game of Thrones.
Oh man, that's
goddamn Zardoz.
All I can think of right now is Butters going, big floppy penises.
Oh my god! Tell me you liked Kung Fury at least.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh Jesus, dude, go watch that shit. It's fucking free. Just go put it on fucking YouTube. Watch that shit.
The last crazy one I watched was Kung Pao.
No, Kung Fury, the one he just did where he did like retro 80s, and the dude at the one point puts on a power glove and like boots up the old Commodore and is like, we're gonna hack time.
We're gonna hack time with the Commodore 64
and a Nintendo Power Glove. It's so good. And he gives him like a typewriter to stand on, and he's surfing through time. Like it's so good. Like literally, there's so much
like from the Wizard of Space and Time, that really really old.
Yes,
movie.
there's literally like every 80. They managed to pack 10 years worth of references into a 30-minute movie. Like. It's fucking great. And he sends him too far back in time. Like, he's sitting there by a beach, and then a raptor comes up, and he's just like, oh, shit. And the raptor, like, shoots lasers at him out of his eyes. And he's like, the dude has the best one-liner. He's like, goddamn laser raptors. He sent me too far back in time. It's like
Oh, okay. I have to see this.
the other one is like if he's doing his backstory. He's like, before he cut off my partner's head, he's like, and before he could kill me, I was struck by lightning and bitten by a cobra, and that's how he got his fucking powers. Like, it's so good. David Hasselhoff guest stars with a voice and with voice, and he does like their music video for him. It's fucking phenomenal, dude. Like, so you're gonna see like T-Rexes and like, oh, my favorite is Triceracop. Triceracop is such a dude. Yeah, it's one of the cops in their precinct. He's just got a Triceratops head. Except for every time he fires his gun, he only hits dudes in the nuts.
That's great.
Man. And I was in tears at one point in this movie. I was in tears because I didn't realize, like, it's one of those things. It's like what people say about Wasteland Build-A-Bear for me is just like, it's one of those mods I never knew I needed, which is my case too. When I started making it, I was like, this is really stupid. Why am I trying this? And now I can't like play without it. I want to put little teddy bears everywhere with fucking armor and weapons and shit. But it was one of those things that I was like, why has a movie never done this? They actually did a side-scrolling fighting platformer in a movie. There's a point where he's literally like kicking the shit out of Nazis, but it's a side scroller, so the camera's moving with him going sideways, and in the background there's just like the really bad animation of everything fighting and shit going on that you'd see in like a late 80s side scroller in an arcade. And like he's just kicking the shit out of people who are just coming at him like one at a time from in front of him or two at a time and shit. And at one point he jumps on a dude's back and rides him like a skateboard down as the camera's moving. He's just kicking the shit out of other people. I was in tears. I'm not even kidding. Like I was laughing so hard I was crying. I was like,
this sounds like it's as good as UHF.
Jesus, it is so good, dude. I was like, and it wasn't like laughing more from how funny it was. It was more like laughing in terms of pure joy at like, why was this never done in a fucking movie?
Yeah, why didn't nobody ever do this before? Do you remember Hardware Wars?
No.
You got to go see that, dude. It's a spoof on the original Star Wars that was made back in the 70s. Dude, it's silly. You got to go see it. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. Yeah, do you like Roger Corman flicks?
Name one. I'm bad with names.
Oh, Roger Corman made movies like what the hell?
No, you don't get it.
No, Death Race 2000. And,
okay,
yeah, just crazy. You know, just why has nobody done this before type stuff. But B movie, but good. Good B movies. Back when they had good B movies, they just have shitty B movies. Shit, they have shitty.
Now they have to make like now they make movies that are AAA movies and make them like B movies.
Yeah, except not as good.
That's
They
true.
look. It's like video games. They look great, but there's nothing there. It's like going to see a pop star. It's like, hey man, she's beautiful, but there's nothing between her ears.
Well, I mean, same thing with like the Doom trailer. The Doom trailer looked really good, and then like you're saying, it's a pile of shit, and it's like,
oh, dude, I don't even want to. I don't want to spoil it too bad for you. I've only played it an hour. I'm gonna play it some more, just to make sure that I'm not
missing out. Like, but dude, if the game isn't good within the first few hours, then it's not going to be like. I mean, dude, like Far Cry Primal, I gave it 2 hours. I usually give a game about 2 to 3 hours. Like, because sometimes I've had that experience where I've quit a game after the first hour and come back to it and given it more time and realized that they missed that intro ADHD hook that you got to do to get people into it.
That's the first thing I said too. It's like it doesn't have that first 20 minutes grab you by the balls, and it's like a game's just got to have. Did you play Wolfenstein: The New Order or anything?
No.
That I recommend. That's a great game, and so is Old Blood. Those are what a shooter should be, and Machine Games totally nailed it. I mean, I have to say,
there's other ones that like. I mean, it's Fallout tried to nail it and failed in my book because it doesn't
know what it wants to be.
Yeah, there wasn't any real depth to it for me, and
they tried
games like BioShock and even BioShock Infinite where there's no way they could have nailed it any fucking harder. Like, you're on a plane.
Well, they could have made that. They could have made the shooting aspect better, but
I don't even think in the first 10 minutes of either BioShock you get into any combat. It do in
BioShock.
It hooks you with the story, I think, more than anything, like the idea behind it.
As soon as you get out of the elevator in BioShock, it's on, but
because that's something that I'm struggling with as well with the start of my quest mod
Oh,
is the first intro, like the intro for my mod, you go and you talk to a group of your Minutemen soldiers. It won't start till after you're actually general of the Minutemen. So anybody who doesn't take that path will not be able to play my quest. I don't even give a shit because I need it for storytelling purposes.
right.
Because for Christ's sake, what do I have people call the character?
Right.
That's actually my biggest problem. That's why everybody was like, everybody when they played my fucking Dragon Break mods, they're like, they keep calling me Dragonborn, but I played Live Another Life, and I'm not the Dragonborn. I'm like, well, what the fuck do they call you then, dipshit? Hey, silent person. Hey, man. Like,
Hey, dude.
it's a recorded audio. I can't have them say every name in the human language and add it as an option. Your
What's
file
going
will
on there, Snake Plissken? You know.
So I'm like, that's what I was struggling with, and I'm like, no, we're just gonna have him call him General. But it starts off like you have to go talk to this Minuteman group. Then you go into the camp, and I was like, well, there's a lot of setup because then you got to talk to them, actually accept the quest. Then you're going into the cave tunnel. Before you ever fight anybody, you've got to do all this shit. You go into the cave tunnel, then an explosion happens, trap goes off, you're trapped in there. Then you've got to start exploring the actual subway tunnels, and that's when you can fight. So I decided, in order to break it up, I was doing different things action paced wise. Hence the when you first meet Natasha, the lead of the Gunner faction you're helping, she's executing deserters. Because the idea with me with the Gunners is they're a merc band. You join them up, you get certain protection, certain parts of the bounty, depending on what you do. And I was thinking, well, let's expand on that and make that, protection for your family as well if you have them. So you join up to be a merc, you get benefits of that kind of shit. So these three people have deserted, and the first one she's about to execute, his brother calls her a stupid cunt whore up in the stands, so she pulls her gun and shoots him in the head. And then while the brother's crying, who's tied up, she cuts his throat. The second guy, she fucking brings out his wife and his child and shoots the wife in the head right in front of him, and then says she's gonna sell his child into slavery, and he's begging her not to. So she's like, "Oh, you don't like that option?" and shoots the kid in the back of the head as he's walking away. And then she executes him. I'm like, I'm gonna break it up by actually adding this character who's excruciatingly hyper violent, but I'm gonna make her extremely logical about it. I'm not making her crazy. And I was
Right.
like, I think that's going to pull a bit. And then when you get into the tunnels, there's actually the whole blowing up and everybody dying, which is followed by a confrontational part where one of your Minutemen goes to try to kill Natasha, which then ends up with a scuffle. And I'm like, because part of my problem was that it's really hard to cover the ADHD of gamers. Like, if something goes longer than, if a dialogue cutscene goes longer than 3 minutes, you lose most people.
Oh, more than 2 minutes. I give people a 2 minute attention span because I know I'm the same way when I come to a terminal and there's 20 entries in it. Yeah, I'm not going to read all those. Yeah, goodbye.
So
if there's one or two, I will.
So my thoughts are if you make it more compelling, I think, because not more gratuitous. I think more compelling is the better term.
Well, what you can do to break that up is insert little illusions of control in there for the player.
Oh yeah, I do. I actually do have that for because there's the scenes don't all play out at once. The player can actually walk around and talk to people before the execution. It doesn't start till they take their seat and talk to the one guy they're supposed to. So they actually have some freedom to explore. They can get in a fight by looting chests and shit. And the same thing when they go in the tunnel, they can actually talk to everybody beforehand. Like I said, I'm trying to give them the option to get to know people before I brutally murder them. Or they can just straight blitz.
Don't forget to tell the stream that this is spoilers too.
Oh yeah, whoops, that was a little too late.
You can edit that in.
Nobody watches this shit. That's why I keep.
Nobody. Yeah, it's true. Nobody watched. I'm the only one that watched it. Yeah, so, I think Jokerine might watch this one.
She's supposed to be on one at some point. She's like my backup for when I can't find anybody late on a Saturday night.
Please do Jokerine. You got to do her. She makes so many mods. It's
she's getting called by her first name though. She comes on. Yeah.
Man,
I love her first name. I'm like,
what is it?
Viviana.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I've always liked that name.
That's a nice name.
So her last name is unpronounceable to the human language unless you're whatever country she's in. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to give away her last name, but it's huge. It's
she says her profile says she lives on the Antarctica or Iceland or something.
No, she's not there. She's
yeah. Well, I didn't think she was.
Her accent will give it away when she gets on. I
probably.
have no doubt. No, she's fuck, somewhere south of
It's not important.
yeah, she's in way East Asia somewhere. Um, I can't remember the fucking country. It's weird. Uh, Actually, I don't even think she's from the country she's in right now. She's moved to it. Yeah. So I don't know. So it'll be a fun accent and probably a fun internet connection if I remember right. Yeah.
It'll be good though.
It'll be fun to talk to somebody who actually enjoys Euro Truck Simulator. Yeah.
Oh,
She's made mods for it, I think, hasn't
hey,
she?
hey, if you do that, then you have to get somebody on that enjoys Train Simulator and has like all the DLCs for it, all of them.
You're talking about Train Wiz, the only person?
Yeah, Train. Okay, Train Wiz.
Who will never come on this show ever, probably.
Probably not. Yeah, well, so
Actually, be a smart move, but
I could recommend other people too. You could have on here. They're always fun.
Go yell at them. I'm like I'm already bad at hunting people down.
It's because everybody hates you,
Oh,
Darren.
that's true. But I'm actually like working. I'm working way too much now that I like get home and I'm in such bad shape that I just like fall asleep for 12 hours and then get up and work again. It's literally been that bad. I was like,
have you done Gopher yet?
I've been tempted. Gopher is really, yeah, Gopher. You're waffly. I'm just gonna say it.
Dude,
and I understand he's busy, but it's like he's
get him to do Gopher Unchained.
Gopher Unchained.
I think that would be immensely entertaining.
He won't though. You didn't see him on the
I
live
know
stream? He's
it's
so
like
reserved.
You say fart and he starts going.
I was surprised he managed the live stream when he didn't start drinking for at least an hour.
You know what? I honestly couldn't believe that he hangs out with you.
Well, he's in the fucking group chat. He was probably talking. There's 260 messages, so I'm betting he's in there somewhere.
Probably.
It's not. Yeah. So yeah, it's about the time he'd be going to bed. So he usually jumps on in the apps with people.
Keep trying. I think I would get along with the guy. I mean, we're similar ages, but he won't give me the time of day. So okay.
Wait, Gopher actually said tough shit. I'm seeing a message here. He says, "Yeah, it's okay if I show off a little." Okay, tough shit. Oh, somebody said no. Tough shit. I slept in a castle last night, an honest to God castle. Yeah, I'm reading our private messages here. Wait, and I played a video game where I went into a castle whilst I was in a castle.
A castle in a castle. So
he said castleception. He said it.
We heard you like castles, so we put a castle in your castle.
Everybody's making fun. He's like, "Don't rain on my parade. I gotta find someone who's impressed by castles." This was like, oh shit, this is like 2 hours ago when we started this. This is when I started ignoring the stream. And he probably went to bed. No, they fucking no. You know what? Fading was actually asking me the other day because I mean we have a fucking group chat right now with. I mean you're invited. You're welcome to come in and add you this thing whenever.
Yeah, do it.
There's 33 fucking people in this thing right now, and that's with losing a lot of like other people have jumped in and out of it and like just leave because I mean it never stops. You will go to bed and get up and there will be anywhere from 500 to like 5,000 messages like because it's just a group chat of mod authors and shit. And,
I'll tell you something. I've been idling on IRC since 1995. I shit you not.
Fading was one of the few times I'll float my own boat in like all seriousness, but because I usually just hubris it like Trump because it's funny. But Fading was like, can I tell people that like despite how much of an asshole you are, you're like a uniter. He's like, I don't want to like ruin your rep. I'm like, it's fine, dude. I was like. Just tell them I unite the strong and I divide the weak because we don't need the weak. Like that's how I feel about it, though. I don't need the people who are. I mean, I'll get in trouble for this from people again, but I really don't give a shit. The word nigger is said in our fucking group chat at least 100 times a day. Because we've kind of, after the whole shit in the mod author forum that Ellie got when she dropped that fucking offer for me, and then, like, just me making fun of Robin, because I don't think words should actually affect how you feel unless you actually value a person's
opinion.
But
other people don't feel that way, and you have to respect that.
No,
I know you don't. You don't have to give a shit, but you have to respect it.
You said you have to respect it. I do not have to respect it. The only thing I have to respect is actions that I do that affect other people. If my words affect their mental or emotional state, that's on them. I can't. It doesn't matter what I say then. That means that anything I say, anytime, anywhere, could affect somebody negatively, and I would have to respect that. That makes no sense to me.
Well,
I understand.
You just have to accept it.
I can accept it. Yeah, it's like, I can understand that the more offensive words are an issue. Nigger, spig, wop, wetback, chink. Like, what's some other ones?
It's almost entirely focused on the N word. You know, I'm not going to say it
No,
because
they're focused on other words. Like I dropped tranny at one point and got in trouble with a lot of people, and I didn't even realize it was like supposed to be a slur. I was like, I've
I don't understand. It's like
I know a bunch of trannies. I was like, I
I
called them. I
I'm
didn't think
friends
they
with
actually.
all kinds and I'm very tolerant. You know, I didn't used to be, but I learned to have some tolerance because, you know, hey, they're just people are just people.
You know, I don't. I, I'm more fascinated by trannies and the fact that I want to know what goes on in their head. Like that's one of the weird things
Hey,
to me. It's something I
if you
never
want to put on
understand.
some panties and a dress and fart around in your closet, that's your business. You
I think
know,
it's awesome because I love chaos, so I love people who cause controversy in people's minds. So they're like my favorite people. But they're,
well,
but I
you'll
mean,
like me then.
one of my best friends is a faggot, and we give him shit like that all the time. And the thing is that he just throws it right back in our faces. But he doesn't help the fact that he calls other gay people fags if they're like
I
flamers. I'm like, you're not helping your case,
I had
man.
the same thing go on at my job. We had a flamer at my job, and we used to tell him all the time, "Hey, will you stop flaming for 5 minutes?" And he would just turn it around and he says, "Oh, you're so gay," you know. And I'm like, "No, no, I'm not. But you know, you can keep dreaming, you know."
See, and he's one of the weird ones too, because he's like a full on homosexual, like not even one like, but he's like full on active in the community, and he's a hardcore conservative. It's
That's
so
what's
great.
funny. That's irony. Hey, I used to know a gay black Jew.
But see, it's not really irony in the fact that it's I don't think conservatism. I think Republican fights against
Right.
it on the religious side, but conservative means being conservative is like fiscally and financially and even in your own life you can be
Yeah,
conservative
there's
and still be gay. It has nothing to do with the actual meaning of the word and what you do. And I think people skew it, which is so stupid. Like
exactly.
you can have feminist conservatives, you can have gay conservatives, you can have transsexual conservatives. It's now
You can have
I
anarchist
yeah,
conservatives.
I'm shocked when I see like somebody, as I'm a hardcore when they say they're like I'm a hardcore Republican and I'm for trannies using bathrooms of other sexes, and I'm like, well, you're not a Republican, you're conservative. Like there's
Yeah,
a
it's just
difference in the word.
you're uncomfortable of people of questionable gender going to the bathroom in the same space as you are. That's your problem.
Some people have weird concerns. Like I don't give a shit
I it's
personally,
like
but
what's the problem? It does it make you uncomfortable? Go take a shit somewhere else.
But see, that's the issue though, is that it's one of those things that I rail against on the federal level, especially because the federal government's trying to pass it, and I'm libertarian as all get
I
out, and I don't think
I
they
don't think
should.
the government has any right to fucking tell us how to fucking live our lives like that.
Yeah,
That's my conservative
I
viewpoint.
actually think the states do. The states have the right to, like that's their legal right. The federal government does not.
Yeah, the
But
federal government doesn't have any right to dictate
I think the
any of that
problem
shit.
though is that they're passing a law in order to not discriminate against people who are transsexuals, just to get into current events where people are going to be like, "Why you talk politics?" But in doing so, they're saying that you hurt their feelings, you hurt their mentality, you hurt their whatever, you're making them uncomfortable. But in passing the law to make them comfortable, they're making a larger group
Of people
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable. Yeah,
Whether that's right or not, the problem is their justification for a lot of the laws are giving liberties
it's
to people that everybody already has, but they're taking.
it's very simple. It's called double standards, and that's exactly what it is. They want someone to change their life for them, but are unwilling to change their own viewpoint for somebody else's.
Right.
And okay, one person, you want people to say that one person is not more important than the other, yet you want to be more important than what somebody else thinks. And that's the dichotomy of it, which is just fucking logically idiotic. It's logically stupid and doesn't make any sense at all. Don't do this, but do this.
And that's where I have issue where we were talking about. I don't know if you were in that stream, but when I was helping, maybe not, when I
That's
was helping
fine.
Hunter, but it was when they were talking about I think it was Georgia or somebody who was basically passing the laws to allow religious people to discriminate against gays, transsexuals, whatever, right? Um, and in this one, I have no issue with that because I think the odd thing is that government comes in and they try to restrict private businesses that are privately owned. And that's where I think the regulation of capitalism goes too far. If somebody wants to, if my parents who own a business didn't want to hire a gay person or a black person, I think it's their legal right and their American God given rights to actually be discriminated. They can be discriminated. It's their personal business. But I think that it would come back and haunt you. So most businesses aren't going to do that unless they're actually a religious, faith-based business. But even if they do, the choice will come back and haunt them, whether in a good way or a bad way, etc. And I mean, we saw it with Chick-fil-A when they got lambasted for being like not hiring or no, giving tons of money to anti-gay stuff or whatever, right? The owner. What happened? Chick-fil-A profits for that year went up like 25%. Because everybody was trying to harass them and it was just publicity. And it's like, because it wasn't something the company was doing that they disagreed with. It was what the owner did with his own private money, which is, it's amazing to me how people don't differentiate. It's like, well, you're trying to give rights in saying that you're giving rights to these people, but you're taking away the freedom to act and believe. It's choice. And I agree that it's, there's some choices that are wrong, like being a freaking, racist, being part of the KKK, but it's their right to believe that way. If they want to believe that way, it's the moment they take an action that actually harms somebody else. Not hiring somebody for your job.
Exactly. That's where
harms anybody.
The line is drawn. It's where does the line stop when you start taking away people's ability to choose? The choice is their right. People have the right to choose to live and do what they want.
Secondly, who the fuck wants to work for somebody who hates gays? Like, would you really want to make them hire you? Like, what, are you crazy? Like,
would I want somebody like that working for me? No. Would I like some crack smoking black guy that can't keep his hands off the merchandise working for me? No. And I don't want anybody telling me that I have to or cannot hire that person.
And that's why I think the main reason is, like, people are like, oh, why is Trump getting so much traction? I was like, well, people are fucking tired of this shit.
Yeah, we're tired.
Like, it's not that they support Trump. It's that they're tired of everybody else fucking them. That they're like, everybody's like, well,
the status quo. We're sick of the freaking status quo of everybody and the political correctness shit. Just I've had enough of it. You mean I can't discipline my own fucking child in my own house without some idiot fucking sticking their nose in it? Fuck that. Get out.
You'll damage your kid.
Huh?
You'll damage your kid. You should instead give him tons of drugs to fix whatever's wrong with him.
Yeah, I don't believe in that.
Addict him to all these sorts of drugs and impede his mental acuity for the rest of his life.
Right. And it's like... Anyway, we should get off that subject.
That's how I feel about that.
You probably should edit all that out anyway.
Nah, it stays. I don't give a shit. People, it's kind of funny. It's like, I generally don't get a lot of flack from people because I actually don't support one side or the other. It's more of I mean, it's the same way with most people. Like, they don't support one side or the other. It's the fact that, like you said, they don't support the status quo, and our only option at that point is to either support Trump or Bernie, and supporting Trump is more against the status quo than supporting Bernie Sanders, which, I don't know, it's kind of turning. They're really fucking him over.
Even using it from a religious viewpoint, God was not above pushing the reset button.
That's so true.
and that's exactly, I'm not a religious person, but I use that argument against those people because that's how I feel about it,
Yep, God was like, hey, you guys screwed up a lot, bye.
Yeah, it's just like if we need someone like Trump in office to rock the boat and get things to change.
And the problem is, I don't actually think they'll change. I think people
I don't think they'll change either. I think he's going to go in there and line his pockets and set everything up for him and his buddies, and just like, but so is Hillary.
Yeah, so, that's the thing. That's like, everybody says that argument, and I'm like, they're like, he's just going to fuck you, and I'm like, so's everybody else.
So's everybody.
This way I get some entertainment out of it.
The difference with Republicans and Democrats is Democrats will tell you that there's hope and then fuck you in the ass, whereas Republicans will just go, hey, we're going to fuck you in the ass. That's the difference right there.
I'll take the honest one for 500, Alex.
Yeah, I'll take the honest one for 500, please, Alex.
Yeah, I don't get it. They're just like, well, who's gonna fuck you? I'm like, so's the other person. You're telling me I have a no-win situation. I might as well garner at minimum 4 years of entertainment value on radio and TV and news. Like that's, I mean, Hillary would be kind of, Bernie might actually be kind of fun for 4 years. 'Cause I think he's
Bernie would
going
be great.
senile.
Hey, if he gets in, great. You know, I want to watch and see if he can actually pull any of it off.
I think Hillary would be the worst because she'd be really boring.
I
Or
don't want
just
her in there at all because she'll just yeah.
we'll have a lot of tapes.
Bill
Star
ain't
Wars.
even hitting that. You know,
Well, yeah, we've known that for
we've
20
known
years.
that for a good long time now. You know,
That's sexist, bro. It's a war on women.
that's sexist, bro. You're gonna piss off some. Oh, I can't even
Do you
say
have
it.
the risk?
Hey,
Do you want to risk it?
I don't. I'm not gonna risk it. But hey, my last two girlfriends were girlfriends. You know what I'm saying?
They weren't men.
No, they were. I met these two chicks at a bar, and they ended up being my girlfriends at one time or another.
No, I'm not
So,
following.
huh?
I think I'm missing the innuendo. I think it's flying
The
over my head.
innuendo there, yeah, I
My
made
innuendo is Mr. Torque level, bro. It's like blowjobs. Like, that's
blowjobs.
about all
No,
I got.
hey, I ended up sleeping with one of the girls' girlfriends, and she got,
Oh.
and that went on for a while, and then I ended up going out with the other one, and then they broke up. And it was strange. Things were strange in Everett, let me tell you.
The world's fun.
The world is fun. Let's go back to talking about modding. That was more
Well,
fun.
we're now at the longest fucking mod author interview so far.
Are we?
Which is,
Oh,
this is
okay.
fucking
Well,
terrible. I keep somebody made a joke on like the third episode that by the time I get to like the 20th, we'll have a 24-hour get to know your mod author because I kept increasing the time, and then I realized at about like episode 10 that it was actually happening.
it was.
Like every
Hey,
fucking.
I'll talk forever, and you will too.
So will I. Like I don't have any issue with it. Like somebody, I think Gopher made the point in one of the things. It's not get to know your mod author. It's DD Productions gets to know your mod author because I don't have a fucking clue about the people before they come on here for the most part. I'm like, I mean, I started. I honestly did. I honestly started, and that's the whole purpose of it, which is why I invite people, even some people who I hate or hate me. I've invited on. I don't have an issue with it because it's not to get into a fight or an argument with somebody. It's to expose them as humans because we're treated like robots, and it kind of, which is another thing Bethesda's fucking.
I kind of wanted to come on every way because I know I come off as kind of an asshole on the forums, but I'm really not. You know, I'm just really opinionated. That's all.
Listen, nowadays, offensive people who are assholes who hurt people's feelings are just people who have beliefs and convictions.
Yeah,
And that's sad to me. That is really sad. It's like, oh, you believe in something and you'll actually say it and defend it? Well, you're a goddamn asshole and you hurt my feelings. What? What the fuck do your feelings matter? Your feelings actually don't matter at all in a logical conversation. Desiree. Fucking damn it, now Terror's gonna it'll take Terror 2 hours and 6 minutes to reach this point. So he won't remove it from the Reddit forums for calling.
Well, you're just an egotistical asshole, man. I'm sorry, you know.
I got in trouble with my last rant video for I think calling Gambit out or something about Allah Akbar. He was like, "You called out another mod author." I'm like, "Well, they did shitty practices."
Yeah, well, I call him out. I'd like to tell it to him face. He got me kicked off the goddamn step forums because he was being an asshole to me, and I called him out on it. You know.
That's the thing I hate is the passive aggressive assholes are allowed to flourish where the people like me who literally just call somebody a dick butt to their face like yet they'll spend 3 paragraphs literally telling me that everything I believe is wrong and that how my parents should have done better and they're shitters but they phrase it in such passive aggressive mannerism that I write one line back and say that you're just a fuckwit and then I go on with my argument and I'm the one in trouble.
Oh, yeah, I'm the one in trouble.
Like,
that's why I started posting on the forum. Okay, kid.
Like,
you know,
like they've done everything from insult the living shit out of my wife, who they've never met, seen, or heard, to insulting my family, my sisters, my parents, my lineage, my intelligence level, my upbringing, my schooling, and all I'm doing is arguing that their ideas are wrong and trying to point out how their ideas are wrong and that they're arguing things wrong. And yet, I'm the one who gets in trouble because I use curse words.
Or ideological things that they don't
Yeah.
comprehend. You're just trying to make me feel bad, or you're trying to make me feel dumb,
It's like
or
I don't give a shit about your personal life. I don't give a shit about your sexuality, your
I know we're
orientation,
not
your
talking
parents.
about you. We're
I'm talking
talking
about what
about
you
an issue.
believe. Yeah, and they always turn that into you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're a whatever, and I'm like, sure, yep, I'll take it.
I've
I've
seen.
started to, by the way, saying that and I just want to point out to everybody right now that I think Giscard is a hero, and he's a hero to many in the modding community. And he's an upright citizen, and I've been saying that, by the way, Roy, for now like a month or two, and idiots on my YouTube believe me, and like seriously, they're taking it seriously. Like anytime Giscard's brought up, I like go on about how awesome he is, and I think he's like a pinnacle of modding and intellect and shit, and like people run with that for it is like I understand Trump more. Like I understand what he's doing. Like he can get so much traction out of morons, and you get to laugh at him.
Uh,
That shit is just great.
it's great. Hey, there's actually somebody who did get chased out of the scene who was really good, and and
Ooh,
Side and Storm.
never
Uh,
heard of him. How long ago was that?
oh, that was back in the middle of the Fallout 3 time. This guy, he was one of the innovators, and he taught a lot of people a lot of stuff, and was very active in the Nifscope forums, and he made some very groundbreaking, impressive mods, and they're just not there anymore because of the way people treated him, and I find that kind of sad.
That is actually kind of sad.
Because
I won't disagree. I don't think running. I I think running some people off depending on what they do or the actions and ideology they take, I don't have an issue with because I personally I'm never trying to run a mod author off. I really want them. I think my itch is more with some of the people you've seen me disagree with vehemently. Like I've invited Arthmore on here. I don't have any issue with the guy as far as like my issues with him are ideological.
I
And
don't have any issues with him either,
and
other than just some of the way he acts
But
sometimes.
see, I'll fight him tooth and nail on his ideology
So
every
will
time he
I.
brings it up. But I don't have an issue like if someone can actually sit there and defend their ideal. I don't like his passive aggressivism. If you're listening to this, Arthmore, I really fucking hate your passive aggressivism. I think that's a fucking pussy ass move. I've seen you act fucking better. I've seen you act like a straight shooter and call people out. I think that's okay. But then again, as we've said, that gets you in trouble. So I can understand the passive aggressivism. But I don't like. I think my issue is that this is why I actually was okay with getting banned off the mod author forum was that I see people post things that I believe are inherently wrong or I know are inherently wrong, and I
Opinion or conjecture.
yeah, opinion or conjecture are a belief. Like I hate people who argue on beliefs. I've done it, but I always state that it's a belief or an opinion. Like
Exactly.
I do not.
You just be real about
Yeah,
it.
just be real. Like if you're arguing on a belief or opinion and you make a 40-page thread about it, you're just a stupid cunt. Like if I state my opinion or my belief and I say that, I tend to not argue it afterwards because there's no
Yeah.
point. You can't argue an opinion or a belief. That's why I don't like what you said the religious things. I actually don't mind religious people at all. But then again, I have more grounded ones like in my in-laws or my parents or my family members. They don't tend to argue their belief.
Right.
They will state it for you because it's something that I believe that they're compelled to do anyway. If you actually do believe, if you're actually a believer in a religion, I believe you are compelled to say your beliefs to people. Like you're compelled to make a pass at somebody in order to get them into your religion. But after that, that's as far as in most religions, apart from some of them, that you're required to do. Like especially Christianity is a big example. Literally, you're only supposed to proselytize to somebody once. So yes,
Right.
there might be 80 different religious people that talk to you in the course of your life, but that's different people. If it's the same person, that's when I think you should take issue with them because like, hey bro, you did your part. God's not going to fault you for not talking to me now.
Well, they're not supposed to judge you either, and they sit around and do that a lot.
They
So,
do.
yeah. It's
but
like I don't judge you, you know.
but
You
yeah,
do
like
what
like
you
you said,
do.
I see that shit, and you know my parents they did a bad job of raising me clearly because I really hold to that. You know, the only thing that evil needs to succeed is for good men to do nothing. and I see something that I believe 100% is wrong, or I know, especially if I know it's wrong, and then I try to argue with them, or I try to actually fight it. But I really don't care about the person behind it as much as I care about other people tend to see these ideas spouted nonstop, and they don't see anybody fighting against them. And that'll sway some people, and I think that's terrible.
Yeah,
Even if the opinion's right, I think argument should still be allowed into the equation, because if something's right and true and you believe in it, you should have no issue having somebody try to argue that point with you.
I have a problem with that too, because that's something that I notice is a lot with the generations that are younger than me, is that if people have problems with things, they don't say anything about it. So you're just kind of standing there, and they'll passive aggressively avoid you and not talk to you and stuff, and not say anything to you about it to avoid confrontation.
Are the opposite though? Are the opposite? Are they don't? If they hear an opinion that is against their opinion, they try to drown it out or get it denied from ever being voiced. They end
Right.
up literally both ends of the spectrum.
Well, they try to invalidate things based on nothing.
Yes.
And they try to argue things, and they immediately, like I noticed during the thread, there was a particular individual that instantly went to personal defamation instead of arguing the point, which really annoyed me.
I think that's where I get in trouble, because I literally say all the cuss words in the book, even though I'm not actually attacking somebody, so
Well,
they take it as personal defamation.
it wasn't that. It's just that they immediately started picking apart the other people's personalities and
Okay,
how
yeah.
they were saying it, rather than what they were totally missing the point. And being a blind defender, I don't know, a nutsack writer, I guess. I don't know what the deal was with that. And it's like, that kind of stuff really gets on my nerves. It's like, do you honestly feel that way? Then state your opinion and argue with it in a manner that's an argument, and not, just going, well, you're just an idiot and you don't know what you're talking about. It's,
Because we live in a generation that students on college campuses, when a speaker's coming in to have a debate, they rally up and get it canceled, and so they throw the speaker out and throw the entire thing out, which
right.
ironically the title of the debate was titled "Are Feminists Against Free Speech?"
Dude,
That
dude,
one made me laugh so hard.
that one made me laugh too. I saw that, and I was like, I look at these kids these days, and I go, you wouldn't have survived my high school debate class, let alone one in college. You know,
You wouldn't have survived my household, like,
yeah, you
jeez.
wouldn't have survived in my household. My dad would have crushed you.
Like,
You know,
grow up with some work ethic, kid. Now
I,
kids
I,
don't even work until they're like 22, and they don't know what the hell's going on. Like,
I got to the point where I would win. By the time I was 40 years old, my dad couldn't get over the top of me anymore. And it's like, I don't get it. It's like, if and he, you know what? He sat down one day and said he was proud of me for that. You're the only one that's ever told me off.
I'll get that maybe someday when when they're on their deathbeds.
Deathbed. Yeah, well, he was pretty much on his deathbed,
'Cause-
so I'm sure that's why I got it. But
One of the ironies that I got was I was up there in September. I was helping a friend. I flew back up to Washington to help a friend build his roof, and my mother at this point, my sister has 3 kids or whatever, and my mother was being judgmental about, and I have 3 sisters and I'm the only boy, and my mother was being judgmental about the way my sister was raising and treating the kids, and she was like, that boy just wants attention. He'll take negative attention. He's got ADHD, and they're just doing things wrong, and they're giving it to him, and they don't know how to treat him right. And I looked at my mom, and I said, yeah, you don't have any experience with that whatsoever, do you? I was just incredulous. I was like, do you just forget 18 years before I took off out of the house the moment I crossed 18?
Of course, it was convenient.
I literally told my mother to her face. I was like, well, the next time you come to my sister, literally just tell her I did everything wrong for 18 years. I know what not to do now because I was terrible at it. And my mother just looks at me. I'm like, if you don't, why are you not? I get it. It's the grandkid mentality.
It's the grandkid mentality.
Let her make the mistakes. You made plenty of them. All 4 of your kids actually turned out pretty damn well rounded and successful in life. It's okay, Mom. You can let her make the mistakes. Let the grandkids be a little screwed up, even though she named one of them and it's going to be a stripper. Because, like, why would you name your kid stripper names? Like, it's not Mercedes, but it's like naming your kid Mercedes or, like, naming them. I want to make anybody mad who has a kid.
I'd like you to meet my daughter, Ferrari.
Ferrari, like, okay, I'm just telling you right now, if you're listening to this and you have a kid and you named your daughter Mercedes or Ferrari or, like, Candy, your kid's working a pole at some point in their life. All right, the odds are completely against you on that one.
On that, oh, dude.
Like, you could literally play the Cinderella game and move into, like, the middle of Amish country. She'd find an Amish strip club. Like,
An Amish strip club.
Found one. Like,
dude, you got to put that in a mod.
Amish strip club. There's no lighting. It's all candles and shit. Like,
oh, dude.
the only drinks they serve is water.
And they're part Mormon and they have magic underwear.
Speaking of that, I can't wait for the fucking sex lab mods and shit. Like, it's gonna be some funny shit.
Hey, if you're gonna have that mod with all that stuff in it, you got to poke fun at them.
Oh, dude, I tell you that I'm gonna promise you this right now. The moment they release a sex lab and they get like Brahmin bestiality, I'm literally just gonna stream an hour of Brahmin's fucking Piper or something. Or Mama Murphy. Like, there's just
gonna get banned off Twitch for that.
Oh shit, you're right. Wait, even the adult content doesn't cover Brahmin fucking, I guess?
Yeah, you can't do that stuff on Twitch anymore.
What about YouTube? Can I do it on YouTube?
I don't think no, but you could do it on PornTube.
All right, well, we'll put it on PornTube. Fuck it. It's about time. Yeah, I just want Brahmin. Like, what do you like? What if a Brahmin's giving fellatio? Which head does it?
Dude, if it's Brahmin, you got to have, like South American girls, and they're like doing the whole fart sniffing thing.
Well, the end of this stream is just going really offensive.
Next thing you know, they'll be talking about felching. It's like,
it was pretty bad in Skyrim when they're like horse and dragon. Now we got like Deathclaw. Like, well, I guess if that thing's coming at me,
Cazador, bow chicka wow wow.
If that Deathclaw wants sexual favors, you're not really one to say no at this point. If it's gotten that close, you're just like, all right, let's just do it.
I'm a Deathclaw and I'm into fisting.
I mean, imagine how more immersive your wasteland get. What is it? Isn't there that one? There's like that one lighthouse, or there's that one like tower that you get to. When you go up into it, there's nobody outside, and when you go down, there's raiders fighting a Deathclaw, like because something happens up top. I think you set off like an alarm bell. And so imagine how immersive that would be, and it's 2 Deathclaws and like 8 raiders or some shit. Imagine how immersive it would be if you got down to the bottom and then like a Deathclaw hits a dude and like then just starts molesting him, and the other Deathclaw's killing off raiders, and then a raider like does the last hit to the Deathclaw, so he starts molesting them, because that was, but in case people don't understand, that was a mod in fucking for even Skyrim. I don't know if it was that way for Fallout 3, but it was like
no, I don't know. I haven't paid any attention.
Yeah, it was
things.
Like defeat, and if you ended up defeating somebody, you would actually like molest them with one of the sex lab animations.
Oh right, yeah, right. The whole alpha domination thing.
So you'd be in the middle of a fucking war zone between like the Institute and the railroad, and there'd just be random synths fucking people, and then people fucking synths, like while everybody's shooting each other. So immersive. It's completely immersive.
And throwing immersive poop and more.
I always love I actually on the sex lab, was it sex lab I think sex lab was the Skyrim one. I started writing descriptions for people. Like I was like, I'll write descriptions for your mod, and I was like, because they had like the dumbest mods with the descriptions, and I was like, but my descriptions were all like realistic descriptions, and one of them was the random rape or whatever, where if you have your clothes off, or not even if you have your clothes off, like men would have a certain % chance to just molest you if you were a female walking around. And I just wrote this big long diatribe about how realistic it is, because as we all know, men just can't control themselves and they rape women constantly in real life. And
maybe in the Middle East. Yeah.
Every time I see a woman, I just roll a D100, and if it rolls 1 to 5, they're getting raped. I mean,
pants off.
It's just done, and they clearly don't fight back, and everybody watches, just like in the Skyrim mod. Like, there's a mod for people to come group around and watch your orgy. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
What are they having, a circle jerk turn in?
Yeah, they would have like masturbation options. Like, you think I'm kidding? Like, it was great. I was like, I just find it like, and now all the people who are like, I thought you hated all the fucking objectification of women mods. I was like, no, I hate them on the front page of Nexus. There's a difference.
There's a difference.
I
Yeah.
think they're funny. Like I don't distress people the freedom to make what they want. I just don't think pedo mods and fucking like shit like that should be on the front pages of the Nexus.
Yeah, bestiality and pedo mods.
When
No,
you're going to a
that's
place like Lover's Lab that has an age warning, and then when you click the thing, it's called adult mods. There's you kind of figure what you're getting into.
yeah. You kind of know what you're getting into, and that's all on you.
And
But
I think I find it so funny because literally there's some realistic ones. There were some realistic ones where people made because it was like a framework, and they would make the
right, yeah,
mods
they
where you
made a
could.
framework, and then people could do whatever with the framework. And I didn't have a problem with the ones that were like your spouse and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I mean, like Witcher has in-depth sex scenes for like even for whores in a whorehouse in the Witcher.
Yeah,
Which was
that's
by the way, if you get Witcher, if you stack up a lot of gold really early on, the whores cost like I don't know how much gold, but they give you experience. I
really.
literally slept with them like 85 times. Like Geralt has some serious stamina for a 1-day bang fest, but I leveled up. I just wanted to see if I could level up banging the hookers in the game. It was for yeah, gameplay purposes, and
Right.
yeah, it was completely.
Well, somebody made a mod that restored it in New Vegas because they actually wanted to put it in the game.
Oh, and they had removed it. Like
They had to remove it because Bethesda was like, nope. You know,
that's something else I want. I want to do like people will do prostitution mods, but that's why I want to do that whole underground city thing. Like with the, it's just Bethesda's gonna fuck me on that. Like you're right. There's gonna be if they do paid modding. I think what it's gonna be is there's gonna be the Disney version for pay for like a few months, and then I'll release it for free after that on Nexus. But like the Disney version for console users will always be paid in some form or another. Like it'll just lower the price, but discounts over time. But like seriously, I don't think it hampers creativity. No,
well, my only problem with it is it's gonna. I've seen it happen in other communities. It happened in the Sims 2 and Sims 3 community and other communities too, where in paid modding comes is people are going to guard the things that they know and stop sharing what they know with the rest of the community, and that's the only problem I have with it.
I
That's
think I think the issue I take with that one is I don't understand it as much because I've been debating offering like one-on-one tutorials for people for pay. Like I mean I understand that yeah, you're like people will ask for pay to do shit, but right now an hour of my time working on my mod, like we spent 2 hours 20 minutes talking. That's 2 hours 20 minutes I could have been working on my mod. I mean that's how I see it. Like if I'm helping
well,
somebody
yeah.
else, so even right now you are right, but I only help people in the time where I want to take a break from modding.
Well, there's other people that really know a lot about the engines, and they're not going to take the time anymore to post the things they know on the wiki, for instance, like they used to do, for other people to share in that knowledge, or they're going to guard those secrets closely so that they're the only ones that can do that. And I'll point out where it already happened, and it's when CBBE first came out, they weren't telling people how to do meshes, even though they knew. And that kind of
Oh, you're talking about when it first came out, Fallout type of a thing, right? Or were you talking about when it came out for Skyrim?
no, when it came out for Fallout 4, they knew how to make meshes work before anybody else's did, and they were guarding that as their.
Yeah, I did. Ken, I'll give
That's
you shit for that. OSNI
that's
original list for
fucking
this.
dick shit, and that's what I don't like. That's dick
Um,
shit.
See, and you're right, but on this one, I think the onus, and this is the problem that I have with the business model of Bethesda or Sims or whoever did that one, if they didn't do it. I think if they do paid modding and the company's making money off it, the onus is on them to actually
Exactly.
share all the information needed, which we both know Bethesda will be shit at doing because they can't even tell
They
us
don't.
what they're doing ever because they are more secretive than
All
fuck
their shit's
everybody.
under patents, under ZeniMax and NDAs and shit, and they
That's
use
what I'm saying.
tools. And,
If it goes to paid modding and they're making a product, it's the same way with a company. If you're getting your product into a retail store, I mean, same thing. Like if you watch Shark Tank, when they
yeah,
come into Shark Tank, that investor, there's a reason that people are like, well, I want $60,000 and you get a 10% stock in my company to do this. And then the Shark Tank guys come back, well, we want a 25% cut and we'll give you 60,000. They're like, and the reason is because they need to do X, Y, Z, etc. They need to market your product. They need to get it into stores. They have the contacts. They've got to, and that's where I think the onus for Bethesda falls in because they want they're the retailer. They're taking an X amount of cut of whatever they ask for us. And the thing is that the cut that they take for making the game and for distributing the product only should equal about 30%. Anything else they take on top of that, they need to deliver for us, the sellers, or for us, the content creators, equal to that share of revenue.
Right.
So, and that's the same way that like the Apple Store and everybody else does it. It's and on that fact, the 30%, like the Apple Store and everybody else, I believe has, and at 5%, Unreal Engine 4 has, I would say, millions of pages of documentation.
Exactly.
And that's the onus on Bethesda. If they do paid modding, and I think that's where they're going to receive even more flack, is right now with what they've released, if they did paid modding, they would deserve a 15% cut.
I I literally started that thread with the NIF tools because I knew that they wouldn't give them to us if we didn't ask for it.
And the problem is, do you know the ones they gave to us are complete garbage, unless you want to make Skyrim, Oblivion, or Morrowind NIFs, or Fallout 3.
Right. Oh, they didn't. Well, that's because of the thing with Havoc, and they
Yep.
can't give it out anymore because Microsoft fucking bought it.
Should I burn something and say that they accidentally included a ton of the Havoc content in one of the releases?
They did, and if you have it, can you please forward it to me because I can't find it on fucking line.
When I include you into the group chat, ask.
Okay, I will do that.
Because I have no idea how
We
that
were
shit works.
cut that out. Yeah, you should
I
cut
don't
that
give
out.
a shit. I talk to Bethesda all the time. Like literally right now, once again, I am paying people. I will pay people for their time to make dungeons for me because I'm working. I have money. I don't have time. And I need dungeons made for my quest mod. Buildings, not dungeons, whatever. I call them dungeons. I'm so into Skyrim shit. But I need like buildings and stuff made. I'll pay
We
people.
call them dungeons too because they are. I mean,
Technically, yeah.
they're dungeons. I mean, shit. AWAF's got what 114 in it, so
Yeah, that's probably more than all the interiors in Fallout 4, by the way. If you look at that interior list, it is abysmally small
it
compared
is
to
abysmally
Skyrim.
small, and every single one of them is boring and has no point of exploring it. There's nothing in there. There's no uniques. There's no notes. There's no. When I found that big black pyramid out in the
Oh
middle,
yeah, I got all excited.
I was all excited. Oh wow, what's in there? You know, and I
I
go
got
through it, and there was like
super
there's
fucking
20 ghouls
excited.
in there and some screws. Oh boy, that was really weird.
Yep, and that pissed me off so much. But yeah, I don't know. Like I need. You know what the worst part is? Here's the worst part. You see all these fucking retards on the forums who are like, "I'm an ideas person. I have ideas." I get at least one idea person a week message me about wanting. You should make this really cool mod, and I got this idea for a quest or some shit, right?
I get those too. I just delete them.
Dude, I publicly advertise that me, of all fucking people, I'm looking for writers for side quests and shit. And if, we'll work it out with your idea and we'll put it into my mod. So we will see your really cool idea come to fruition in light. I got 8 people that responded. Of those 8, only 1 has stuck through.
Right.
It's pathetic. Like these fucking idea people. Like literally, if you're listening and you're somebody who's ever sent a message or given an idea, you're a fucking piece of shit. Follow through.
Follow through.
Fucking. Even if you're just gonna be an idea person, at least follow through on being a stoner. Like. Like they drive me nuts. I'm like, I literally just like threw out the offer, and I was like, this is gonna turn into a shit show. It didn't get anybody. I was like, what?
You didn't get any. Yeah. I don't even ask. I ask the people that I hang out with. You know, everybody's got their little cliques and circles of people, and we have ours too. So I just ask them, hey, do you think this would be cool? Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Or no, and they're honest with me too. Oh, that would suck, dude. Why would you do that? You know? So
I think that's where feedback has been really fun when talking to people about different things because it's. I mean, that's why you said you watch Gopher for things. I actually try to hit up Gopher a lot on ideas because there's a difference. Whereas MXR has 1.2 million subscribers, they watch him for the funny, they watch him for the review, etc. Gopher has 270 or 300 or something, and most of them watch because they value his opinion on things.
yes, I value his opinion on things. That's why I watch him.
Yeah, that's telling me that his ideas, like I've talked with MXR a lot and stuff, and I like his ideas. He has some good ideas as well and shit. But I think Gopher has a really good key on that group that follows him on what they would like and what he likes, and so I want to get his opinion on a mechanic or something that I'm doing or that
Right.
kind of shit because I'm like, well, would this be fun? Because I know my metric is skewed. I'm like, I like the more crazy. Like if it gets back, you watch the stream when I fucked with the lighting. I really like that light. Like I was like, wow, the lighting actually does do what I thought it would do when I edited those things. This could be fun.
This could be fun, dude. Fun. That's the whole thing. Is it's got to be fun. What's fun? And I'm always asking myself when I'm making new cells or whatever, because
Minecraft is clearly fun.
yeah, it's like, well, I started adding content to World of Pain now because I feel confident that I get it. I get his thing. So I want to add content, and I've been adding content to it, and it's just like, is this fun? Does it make sense? Sometimes I'm adding things like I've been adding cells to fix the cardinal direction on things because I hate when I go through a door and I'm pointing north and I come through the door and I'm pointing south.
I did that, by the way, throughout the entirety of Discworld before I realized that, yeah.
I hate stuff like that. So I've been going through, and I've been making little connecting cells and stuff, but I'm like, I have some ideas to do some new stuff.
Wait, Fallout 3 doesn't have a north marker?
Oh, it has markers. It's just that the way that the cells are oriented on the map.
And then you enter. Yes, correct. I gotcha.
Right, because I don't know if you've ever played a World of Pain, but there's a huge underground set of cells that are all connected together in one spot. And you can enter at one end and come out the other. And sometimes in a couple of spots, it didn't make sense. So I've been trying to fix that.
That's where I give Ryuji so much met. The guy who designed the dungeons for... he designed one huge dungeon in Discworld, and he designed the entirety of the Dwemer ruins in Dragon Break Episode 2. Mm-hmm. When I realized what he was doing, I couldn't understand how he was making his dungeon so perfect. Like, he actually designed... The dungeon was 6 different parts, but when you left one part, there was a center hub, and when you walked out of it into, say, the West Wing... And then the West Wing was such a convoluted, just twist of maze. And then when you exited it back into the hub at exit 2, and I actually copied one cell on top of the other when I realized how he was doing it so perfect. He actually built the entirety of all the cells in one interior and then cut them up
and cut it up,
other interiors. I was like, that is actually fucking genius. Because they were one-to-one, just... Unlike Bethesda, by the way, anybody who doesn't understand this, when you walk into a Bethesda dungeon, let's take the Pyridon, for example, however the fuck you say it. The inside of that fucking airship is 15% bigger than the outside. Bethesda doesn't even give a fuck. Most cells are like that.
Most cells are like that. Even the very first cell in New Vegas is Doc Mitchell's house. It's totally bigger inside than the house outside could be.
Pisses me off.
That kind of stuff is most players aren't going to notice that.
I notice it all the time. It
drives me. I know. I notice it too. I can't stand it.
How hard is it just to fucking seriously?
Well, most of the time because the meshes just don't freaking line up. I mean,
well, that's their own fault when they made the shit.
That's their own fault when they made it. But when you're making $1 million game and there's 50,000 assets, it's kind of hard to coordinate it all.
Except for they made a $750 million game. They could have just hired one more intern. They had at least...
That's true.
They had at least 3 interns work on Wasteland Workshop and generate $50 million.
But they couldn't hire somebody that was smart enough to call them and tell them that the 4ES system was a stupid idea.
I've said this before for MMOs. I want to create a service, and this could actually be extended to game developers. It would be a service of just midgets. We would hire out midgets. They could hire our service, and we would send them a midget. This midget would stand on a little step stool ladder behind you in board meetings, and if you made a stupid suggestion, they would just whack you in the back of the head with a wiffle ball bat and tell you were a fucking idiot. And then that would be a great service because it's clearly needed.
As long as they're all Joe Pesci. That would be... You're a fucking idiot. What?
You can't do anything. What are you going to do? You're going to be accused of a hate crime if you, push this midget off the ladder, and then my company's going to make $1 billion.
Exactly. That'd be perfect, but... Or give them clown hammers, or something.
Swing! Make a squeaky noise inside of it. There's a lot of board meetings at places that need this feature.
They do.
It needs to be an in-house thing.
Especially when corporate comes in and they're just the stockholders and they don't know shit about anything, except dollars. So that's all they care, like why if you've ever watched the thing on why LucasArts closed down is because they had that problem.
And, and
Whereas
and the worst part is that understanding dollars is one thing, but then you look at games like Witcher, BioShock, and stuff where they actually put the love and care into the game, and it still fed out and it's fed
that's the
out.
problem though. These guys that are in management and corporate, they don't understand how fucking
Because
games are
do you know how
made.
many copies
They
of Witcher
don't
I've
understand at
probably
all.
this get to know your mod author. This is by episode 14, and I will not be surprised if we have sold over 1,000 copies of Witcher in these 14 episodes, just because all of us fucking love the game so much. It's and we'll use it as an example of why it's so great, and this is the things you can do. And so their attention to detail and their love for their game
Yeah.
paid off. And I mean, that's just one person doing a video stream. There, I mean, just
If you
shit
want to
like
play
that.
Fallout, go buy Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas full versions and download Tale of Two Wastelands and enjoy Fallout the way it was supposed to be.
Yep. The well, nah, yeah, I was still a little Disneyed up from the previous, but it was better. I'll give you that.
Hey, we took Fallout 3 and we brought it up to New Vegas standards.
Get some guy 2000s mods too.
Yes.
You need
Oh
that.
yeah, you got to have some
You
guys
need the hyper
mods
violence.
and you got to get a World of Pain because it's painful and you like pain.
I figure if you don't have a mod where somebody screams something like "I will kill your dick," like there's another one by the way, Bulletstorm. If you haven't, oh, you don't have a console though. I don't know if it's on PC.
Oh, I have it on PC. Yeah, I
Okay,
have a couple.
oh, best
Fantastic
fucking game.
This is
I'm,
great
I'm
game.
stealing lines from that fucking game.
And
Like,
Borderlands 2.
yep.
Borderlands 2.
Dude, I shit you not. There's going to be a point in my mod where we get into a vertibird and I want Natasha to scream, "Here comes Butterdick Jones and her heavenly asshole machine." Like I
I,
was
wa-
I was
I wanna
laughing so
hear
hard I
quotes-
almost got killed, dude. I couldn't play the game for like
I want to
2
hear
minutes.
quotes from Mr. Torg. I want to hear somebody. Now go punch some bad guys in the dick. Yeah.
Explosions.
Explosions.
No. My favorite is the DLC with Tiny Tina's whatever the fuck it was, where she did like the board game. My favorite was when Mr. Torque is giving the quest and he goes, "I want you to go and light those blimps on fire, cause reasons."
Because
Like,
reason.
Best fucking MMO quest thing ever. Like, cause that's what it literally boils down to. It's just like, go do this, cause
Dude, they had the
reasons.
best writer. That guy is the best writer.
Oh my god, fucking Tiny Tina lines were so good too.
Dude, Jack is my favorite antagonist of all time.
I think they fell flat on the pre-sequel a bit though. It
the
felt
pre-sequel
more,
sucks. Awful
yeah.
game. Terrible game.
He was
No
great in the
Salvador,
other
get
one.
out of here. If I can't be Gunzerker, then screw you. If I can't be OP as hell and go solo Cromerax on
Like-
OP 80, fuck you.
Like
you know?
I'm hoping for a Borderlands 3, but I'm hoping they don't.
They
The worst part about that, by the way, it was Borderlands. The pre-sequel was made by Australians. It was like it's made by an Australian 2K studio, and I'm sitting here thinking, "Oh my god, this is going to be amazing," because Australians
and
are
then they
fucking
closed
assholes.
the studio.
Yeah, and then it's like nothing. It's just boring vanilla.
It's
shit.
boring because they made them do it. You know, it's like they didn't release modding tools this time like they did with Borderlands 1. They totally missed the boat there. Do you know how much Borderlands 2 would be modded if they had actually...
If they gave me any type of modding tools, I would have modded the shit out of it.
I would have modded the shit out of that
That would have
game,
been some
I'm
fun
telling you.
levels and shit. You know what nobody bitches about in a Borderlands game like they do in Skyrim or Fallout 4. It's like there's no clutter. It doesn't look. I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's tons of games with no clutter. Like, what the fuck? Why are you literally all, and I'm gonna get in trouble for this one, Wheeze? Are you literally running around like fapping to how vanilla and cluttered and detailed it looks instead of playing the game?
So yeah, exactly. Or are you really standing in the character creation screen admiring how long your eyelashes are and
For a character you're never gonna
how
see the face of.
detailed your corneas of your eyes are and the color, you know, it's just like you
until
really
Fallout
do
until
that?
Fallout fucking 4, you never even saw your character's face if you just played the game normally.
I know. Not you saw it at character creation or if you went into free spec mode and looked at your character.
And they put so much detail into that shit and get so infatuated with their characters. I don't understand it. I'm like, no, your character, like all my characters are like female, default look, and they're named Babushka.
I mod every single one of my I'm I went into Fallout 3 and I copied the face gen from Gary into the default player, and I'm always Gary. And I copied it into the female one too, so that I can be Gary Geri. And I'm actually gonna go around and get all the audio for Gary, and I'm gonna put it into all the player responses for so that he. And Luthien made me a mod that replaces all the dialogue responses with Gary.
Do you know who would make? I'm debate like if they do paid modding, the first thing in the file, like this is probably gonna get stolen really fast by somebody if they're smart, and if you're smart and you've got the time and the dedication and a good mic and you're a good voice actor, the person who because of the way their contracts work, if they have a standard contract with their voice actors, the people who voice acted the female and male protagonists for Fallout can never be hired by any modder, even if paid modding becomes a thing. It's against their terms of contract. If somebody actually out there wants to go through and record 12,700 lines of dialogue and revoice the female or male protagonist, you probably need a group of two. You need two people. You will make tons of money if paid modding becomes a thing, because I would pay you. Everybody else would pay you who wants to make a quest mod. Anybody who wants to change dialogue would pay you. You would be able to set your price, like, because people aren't gonna. It'd be amazing, but you'd have to be good at it, which isn't very hard considering.
Can I say one thing?
Stupid. Go for it.
The male voice actor for Fallout 4, I didn't think that Bethesda could hire someone that sounded more disinterested than Dad from Fallout 3. But they proved me wrong.
I had no faith in him after Skyrim, dude. Everybody in Skyrim sounds like they literally want to kill themselves in the recording studio. I have a feeling they were just giving everybody tons and tons of Prozac before they walked in.
Dude, how do you sound more disinterested than Liam Neeson? How is that even
Liam
possible?
Neeson would have been an uptick for that voice actor. Like literally every line could have.
Liam Neeson is Dad.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You didn't know that he's James? Yeah, he's James. It's like they found somebody that sounds more asleep at the wheel than Liam Neeson. How is this possible?
They should have had Keanu Reeves.
Oh, dude.
What? Hey, I'm Jesus. Well, that actually would have worked.
That actually, Jesus, it probably would have worked. It's like, and
Liam Neeson only would have been good if you were playing an evil character.
Ever. I don't get it. I don't understand.
No, the voice acting is so terrible for the main protagonist because there's like they tried to sound too ambiguous or just what it was bad. It's just like and even your evil options are just like sarcasm.
What evil options?
Yeah, you're right. There is no evil options. So every time I say evil options, somebody's like, "Well, you could sell one kid into slavery at one point." I'm like, "Really? Where?"
Where?
It is in there. Yeah. Apparently, it's in there.
It's in there. Oh, where?
You have an option when you're trying to rescue this kid or do some shit where you can.
Is it the ghoul? I mean zombie. I mean ghoul in the refrigerator.
Maybe, I don't know. I've never found it.
I mean, ghouls aren't zombies. Why are ghouls zombies?
Ghouls are so zombies. That's why I was planning. I'm like, maybe if I still get a good voice actor, I wanted to do the
Why Bethesda?
Why? I wanted to do fucking god damn it, what's his Bruce Campbell's character?
Oh yeah, perfect.
Evil Dead. I wanted to do
name's Ash.
Ash. Thank you, Ash. I wanted to do Ash, and like I wanted to make him. I wanted to do like a TV episode, a series, but I need to find a voice actor who can do Ash. Like I could actually start doing it, but because I wanted to do it like a 20-minute episode every month or so that just follows his story. And I was initially thinking the intro would be he's got to go meet this woman to pay child support, and that's when the bomb drops. So I could kind of like tie in, and then like he would just leave her behind to run to the vault, and so she'd show up in the vault after he did and get mad because the nuke just went off, and then basically so then his baby gets taken, and his entire goal is he knows he's been asleep for 75 years and he doesn't want to pay for child support for that long. So he needs to go and get a paternity test. So that would be like the story icon going through that. And
that'd
like
be great.
The first thing I wanted him to do when he came out of the vault, like he would find his chainsaw and his shotgun, right, in the vault. And when he came out of the vault, the first thing he would find is like a ghoul that walks up to him and is all friendly. It's like literally walks up and is like, "Hey, sir, what's up?" And he'd turn around, scream, and shoot him in the face with the shotgun. And then like a female ghoul would run out, like, "You just killed my son." Then he'd cut her up with the chainsaw and like just be freaking out about fucking zombies. And like anytime he saw a ghoul, he would just kill them without thinking. Like I want his ghoul body count to be at least 40 before somebody stops him from killing a good ghoul. I just want him to keep freaking out about ghouls. Like, I want to combine Ash with Archer. Like, that's kind of what I wanted to do. It's like, I don't know. It's just, or just like meet a female. Like, one of the ideas was like, the first person he comes across is a female, and you can tell from behind. And then when she turns around, she's a ghoul, and he freaks out and just blows her brain out. Like he's like hitting on her.
That's not what I was expecting.
He's hitting on her, and she's talking without turning around, so he thinks she's just a chain smoker or something. Makes a trucker joke, and then he just kills her.
Hey sailor, how you doing? You know.
All right. Well, on that note, let's wrap it. We've got seriously, let's throw 2 hours.
Yeah, this is like almost 3 hours. All right, man.
Fuck it. So, anything you want to say to people at the end besides Bethesda.age sucks and Pete Hines is a dick?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's free form. Do whatever you want.
Download my mods. Go to Tele2 Wastelands and get our mod and download it and enjoy it and have fun playing a semi-real Fallout experience, which is more in line with 1 and 2 in tactics. And hey, if you like that kind of thing, go download Project Brazil and play that too. That's a great mod. It needs more exposure, I think.
I think most Quest mods need more exposure.
And download all of Some Guy's mods. You just like he needs promotion, but you know, if you've never played a Some Guy mod, it's like they're just, you have to. It's like,
that's why I think it'll be a real shame if he doesn't mod Fallout 4. It'll be a loss for the Fallout 4 gaming community, but we'll get plenty of TNA mods.
Yes, we will. We'll have plenty. And possibly Brahmin sex mods.
Oh, I hope so. It'd be so awesome. I've got a Brahmin fetish, guys.
Man, I want to see a ghoul inserting a mole rat in a Brahmin, you know.
They'll have a request thread.
Yeah.
You know, for scientific curiosity, I will see that when it happens. Like, do you make the Brahmin sit there and go,
with like some giant, with like some giant hamster tubes or something?
Is the Brahmin smoking a cigar while it happens? He might be into that kind of thing. Like,
maybe just wrap him up in duct tape, you know.
This is a really good example of, you know, there's a lot of lore that can be experienced on the sexual mating habits of ghouls and Brahmins and mole rats. As long as they don't accidentally insert a mole rat with that exploding vest, then the Brahmin just, there could be. Okay, we're just ending the stream.
Okay, we're just.
This is fucking bad.